I got the power, supreme. Black power, love supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Power, love supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Supreme. Unity is the key. Supreme. The black man is first. I'm first to create the universe. I'm first to be first. First to give birth. I'm first on the earth. First to make it work. First to give it worth. First to write a verse. First to keep research. First to rehearse. First things first.
Greetings, Elder Blacklight. January 25, Friday night. With the flavor of Savior and the kind of knowledge you won't get in college. We're going to get right into it. This is Israel versus Allah 2. We're talking about spies, informants, provocateurs. We're gonna pick it up at the spook who said. So let's go.
Hey, old bean. And you too, baby. This is Uncle Tom, Commander-in-Chief of your Black Freedom Fighters in North America, bringing you the latest news from your fighting black underground. Hang on, brothers and sisters. Liberation is near. In just a few minutes, at precisely 3 o'clock, we will demolish the lavish offices of the mayor of White Chicago. Cause we don't have a mayor, even if they do count our votes several times to elect him every 4 years. Remember, brothers, in spite of the lies about an assassination attempt on the mayor, which will appear in the white press, that this time we blew the mayor's office at night when he was at home to announce the beginning of our war of liberation. I dedicate this program to the National Guard, but we're fresh out of hillbilly music. And according to the press and television, the guard spends all his time playing basketball with the kids and helping old ladies cross the street. But we know better, don't we? We know about that 14-year-old girl the trigger-happy guardsmen shot last night, and the people they beat up, and the black businesses they destroyed, don't we? It's almost time. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. And the mayor's office is now air-conditioned, courtesy of the Black Freedom Fighters of Chicago. And the message is this. Pigs in the National Guard have to go immediately, if not sooner. If they've left by midnight Sunday, we will kick them out. Whitey, go home. We don't want you in our neighborhood either. And we will control our nation.
We will leave when things are back to normal, with them at the bottom and us at the top.
Colonel Evans, would you care to comment on charges of brutality by the Guard?
If they obeyed the law, we wouldn't be here. They'll get what they ask for. But there has been no brutality by the Guard.
Colonel, what about the threats by the freedom fighters that kicked the Guard out of the neighborhood?
They said midnight tonight. It is now 12:30, which tells us exactly what we think of their threats. It's also time to put an end to this conference. I have a report to work on. Good night and thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Hold it right there. All right, you just killed your last white man.
He died. My people attack.
You don't scare me none, you snaky Indian.
The Black Sambo.
Yeah, how you like that? Like that, always want to be like that, didn't
Coffee, tea, milk. Poison. You're gonna kill me?
Oh, soul brother, it's a little acid. Going on a little trip. Hold it. Hold it.
the most marvelous bunch of niggers. The most marvelous bunch. You get him? Shit.
We're the position.
We're in Vegas, baby. You know we gonna celebrate.
Oh, I just touched down. Now it's time to celebrate. Super Bowl.
We need 2 people over in this area, please. Hurry.
Due to increased fighting in Chicago, the president has ordered a brigade from the 82nd Airborne into the war-torn South Side to reinforce the beleaguered National Guard under heavy attack by black guerrillas since late last week. This is Pat Pinnell, Chicago.
You've been here since the beginning, Carstairs. How does it look to you?
General, it couldn't be worse.
We have elite troops out here now against untrained black fanatics. The whole thing should be over before the weekend.
Those troops are facing a highly trained underground guerrilla army. They have military weapons and they know how to use them. The commander of those elite troops insists he can put this thing down within a few days.
You disagree?
Yes, sir, I do. They're a first-class fighting unit.
You prepared an options book.
Yes, sir.
And?
We have 3. Root them out one by one, starve them out by siege, total evacuation of the black population.
Evacuation?
Now, the first is too costly in lives and equipment. Neither evacuation nor siege would work.
Why not?
General, we sealed off the ghetto for 3 days last week. It paralyzed the city.
Paralyzed Chicago?
Chicago is more dependent on black labor than one would think. 90% of the garbage collectors are colored. 60% of the hospital workers are colored. 60% of the bus drivers and 80% of the postal workers. So although the detention camps occurring under the 1950 Subversion Act are ready, we can't put them to immediate use.
Your recommendation?
We can end it alone, sir.
Yes?
The Russians obviously have a top agitprop man here. Find him, destroy him, and you have disorganized, ignorant Negroes to deal with.
Cut off the head and snake dies.
Exactly.
All right, Carstairs, get right on it. I'm going back to Washington. Get back to me by tomorrow noon. Honey, I'm going back to Washington. Why don't you amuse yourself here for a few days? A little shopping. Be back Sunday, huh?
Sure, baby. We'll find something to do in Chicago.
All right, let's pause it right here. So we talking about from Jump Street. Protel, provocateurs, snitches, informants. Now she, in case you haven't been watching, she used to be a hooker. And Freeman, Uncle Tom, when he was the spook who sat by the door in training, he ran into her and gave her some culture. She dig Freeman. But Freeman, he in love with the one that's gonna drop a dime on him. And later on in the program, we're gonna show a brother that's the supreme master research that I have the privilege to meet and had him as a guest on my program over at WHPR 88.1 FM and TV 33. So the brother's name is Steve Coakley. Let's get back into it.
But how'd you know how to find me?
I looked in the phone book.
Yeah, well, you look great. But what are you doing in Chicago?
I'm here with my sponsor. I'm not hustling anymore. Got me a steady scene. Feel a little bit freakish, like black skin. But the money's good. Got me some property. You know it.
I do.
Yeah. You used to work for him. You know, you his nigga. All the time he'd be saying, if all of us niggas was like you, wouldn't be no trouble. At first I thought he was talking about somebody else.
So
they have to get Uncle Tom.
well, what makes you think I know anything about Uncle Tom?
I'm not saying you do, but you know Chicago and I don't.
Yeah, but what am I supposed to do?
Warn him. Tell him they're out to kick ass and they ain't playing.
One thing. Why are you sticking your neck out?
I'm black, ain't I?
Yeah. Yeah, you are, baby. Who's in charge?
Carstairs.
What are they up to?
They plan to get inside, find out who this Uncle Tom is, and kill him.
Cut off the head, the snake dies. Do they know who Uncle Tom is?
They think he's some guy from Russia.
They would.
You want me to see what else I can find out?
No. Wait a minute. Two can play at this infiltration game. Find out all you can, but don't pry. I'll have somebody contact you in Washington. Baby, be very careful. And don't contact me again unless I get to Washington.
Hey, what's this wall?
And why should you feel threatened by the freedom fighters?
Because I am, and you are too.
How?
You know how. Look, all the progress.
Now this is the one that's gonna drop a dime on Freeman, but not to the whitey, but to the whitey's Negro. Freeman's used to be buddy. I'm trying to make a point. See, Israel has penetrated all black organizations, even the Nation of Islam, and took it over. They took it over took the Nation of Islam over through Farrakhan and Wallace. They don't want to say Malcolm, but Malcolm, he went to the white man and told the white man that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a pedophile. And he the same one that called the white man the blue-eyed devil. And then when he went to Mecca and came back, he changed his tune. So let's continue on.
We've made over the last few years will be wiped out if this thing isn't stopped soon. I heard even your foundation is on its way out.
Well, no. They decided to increase the budget and the staff.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, my husband was dismissed from the hospital. And he was the first and only Negro on a white hospital staff in the city.
Well, what is the connection between your husband and the freedom fighters?
Dan, that is the whole point. Innocent and decent people are suffering because of niggas who know nothing but hate and revenge.
And it's all the niggas' fault, right?
Look, don't romanticize those people, Dan. They're not beautiful.
Only by contrast.
Dan, those freedom fighters are murderers.
Hey, listen, it didn't figure to be long before those niggas realized that you don't have no wind throwing a brick at somebody with a gun.
Dan, whose side are you on?
Your side.
Look how she's looking at him.
We're in the same bag. Making the best bad scene.
She's gonna try.
I think he's mixed up with those black freedom fighters.
Dad, you gotta be kidding.
I am sure.
Now this guy right here, he's the, I think he's the captain, Chicago Police Force. He's got a special assignment. And she dropping a dime on her, the guy she slept with, cheated with, fornicated with. Man, our people have been conditioned through slavery for 400 years not to fight back, but to join up. You know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? Our women are conditioned to condition all the male boys to cop out to the white man. And he's still killing us. And you can't say that he's just killing them hoodlums on the street. Because not too long ago, there was a brother who was the head of a choir. I forgot what town it was, but a white woman police cop shot him a couple of times because he had an Escalade, I believe, an Escalade, and it conked out on him. I don't know if he ran out of gas or just he had a lemon or something. But anyway, he was sitting on the side. I think he was on his cell phone. The police showed up. And he had to walk back to the caddy to give the police woman his ID because he left it in the glove compartment. That was a trick. Because when he went back on the passenger side and opened the door, she said he had a gun and opened fire on him. Y'all remember that one? Come to find out he was a deacon, or he wasn't a minister, but I think he was he was some in the church. And there was another brother who got shot by a white cop. I don't forgot the brother's name too. But she was a cop. Said she shot the brother because she thought he was in her apartment, but she was in the wrong apartment. She killed him in his apartment. But she said, she was mistaken. So you got a lot of church people. And remember, Biden was at the church where this white dude came in and shot up 9 people in the church. And then Biden went back there to campaign, trying to get those black votes. Well, those ministers, Biden gonna send them out some money. That's our problem. We act like, money, when we get a chunk of money, we'll turn on anybody, our mother, father. And the money ain't real. The Federal Reserve, no, they ain't real. But we ain't gonna go into that right now. We'll pick that up on another day. Let's get back to the program and finish up on this one. Just letting you know to watch out for those provocateurs, for those spies that's in the church, And when Steve Coakley get on, he gonna tell you how they work. So you want to see this one. See, a lot of my brothers and sisters in the church, they just stubborn. They don't want to recognize the truth. Some of them don't want to remember when we was in slavery, what they did to us in slavery. We was done worse than the Palestinians. For 400 years, we were suffering that kind of execution. But let's get back and finish up. Spook who sat by the door.
We were talking, and just for a minute, it was like he used to be.
Yeah. He was something else when he was in college. And that was before all this became fashionable.
He was defending those animals, and he called himself. And he said all the right things, but it just wasn't him. It just wasn't the man I know.
People close from intelligence. Gig takes them all in the ghetto. I'll check it out.
Pete, I am doing the right thing.
Come on. Just put your coat down right there. Come on. What is this, Dulles? Come on, Uncle Tom. Come on! Uncle what? Uncle Tom, up against the wall. Come on, against the wall. Spread your feet out. Come on. Hey, what is this? Some kind of joke, man? Yeah, that's a joke. The joke is on me. I've been looking all over for Uncle Tom, and here you are under my nose. Cool Dan Freeman, only digging sports cars and bread, good clothes and chicks. Beautiful cover, man. And when I think about it, I mean, really think about it. Now, would I risk all of this for that? Yeah, well, I don't have to worry about that, man. I got enough evidence to take you in, and that's what I'm going to do. What evidence? Oh, them tapes, man. Them Uncle Tom propaganda tapes that you can't spread around the ghetto. Well, I listened to them over and over again. And it's you, Dan. It's your voice. You gotta be crazy. We'll see if a voice print proves whether I'm crazy or not. Now what? Now what? Well, the scene is over. But one thing. Are you working with the communists like they say? Who's behind you? How come there gotta be somebody behind me? Oh, come on, man. Don't put me on. No. The FBI says it's the most sophisticated underground movement in the Western Hemisphere. The work of an expert. And expertise is white man's monopoly, right, Dawes? Well, I am an expert. I spent 5 years flunking to become an expert. This gun makes me an expert. You're a big man with that gun and that badge. You know, Dawes, you want to have it both ways. You want a pat on your head from Whitey, and you want to love and respect your people. But you can't be with your people without betraying that badge. And you can't be a cop without betraying your people, you hypocrite. You think nobody else feels the way you do? You think you're the only nigger with the sense of an outrage? Well, then head back, join us. We can use you. We got undercover people on the force. On the force? That's right. But who? Nobody with your rank. Come on, join us, Tom. And you're using kids. Who else am I going to involve? People like you and me? The kids are our only hope. And I got to them before they got jailed or killed or turned into Dawsons. And now they'll do anything to be free. Who said you were free, man? Well, Dawes, even on the wrong end of your gun, I'm a lot freer than you are. It's Dawson.
Hey, man. Dawson's your main man. You know, that would be like me killing Dad.
Yeah. And maybe one day you'll have to kill Daddy. Or him, you. You think we're playing games, killing white strangers? There are a lot of Dawsons out there. And some of them will try to stop us. But anybody gets between us and freedom has got to go. Now, that's anybody. You got the airborne out there now. And 40% of those troops are black. Maybe they'll help us. And maybe they won't.
But in the meantime, if you hesitate with any one of them because he's black just once, you be one dead cobra. Now, if you ain't ready to pay them kind of dues, now you get out and go back to doing nothing, but don't tell me who I killed and what it cost me to do it. Now get him out of here. Get him out.
Right,
It is now condition red. All fighters in the field. We alert our groups everywhere. And remember, don't quit until you either win or you die.
This newest outbreak in the black section of Oakland brings to a total of 8 the number of uprisings by black guerrillas in cities across the nation. The president has declared a state of national emergency.
Master of the day of judgment. I got the power.
Well, cause they're all through the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the bootleg and ADL as well, cause they all through the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the bootleg and ADL as well, cause they all through the hell. Check it. The new world order is fine as new as the water. Ever since they made the money back, things ain't been the same. We was in chains when the surface taking things in Indian Spain. Now they using different names. Check it. The reservations all reserved plantations for original nation. It's like population devastation. You see these legendary plans back in 1776 while they were cutting off our dicks. Ever heard the Illuminati stole the bones? Will ask somebody about your party, Democrat, Republican. Relation. This goes on and on, but I just thought I'd give you a little something. Get started on the day is newborn. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the bootleg and ADL as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the bootleg and ADL as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the bootleg and ADL as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the bootleg and ADL as well, cause they all do the hell. I travel many roads for the day I'm from San. I'm under the camel's back, I'm a guy, you the man. Donovan was the first man. So what do you say? Say my boss like it to be with your own right. Take the right, not the left side. Baby's gonna die. Open up your third eye. Get high, got you open like a black hole. Let us dwell, no longer smell of Satan's tail. It's up for sale. And have it as a freebie. So here it is. I'd rather have a cheap book, cause that's my biz. Open up your mind black and get clear on what we need to do now. With no fear, I'ma see you through the next song. Now it's on, ain't no caveman in our home. They just gone away by the blue breeze. For my kids, you can ease by the fishery. No misery. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule and ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule and ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule and ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule and ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. We went there to find symbolism that we can share with you to try to expose the interconnections between now boule and Going Bones and Bombay Napa and Rock etc. These interconnections are important because the concept of the problem with those systems is that at some moment when we believe we have the most substantial evidence, when we believe that our military apparatus is well prepared above the ground and below, that we will begin to exert influence upon those who we believe have betrayed us, and the trial of the old thinker will commence.
Today we asked the people, did they want to know about the intelligence community that compromises their future? We have brought a brother to share his insights into what is the advanced version of a previous known intelligence project called COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO has been advanced to now IntelPro. We have brought a brother from as far away as Chicago through Maryland to Baltimore to describe how this program is working on him today. He has worked in the Justice Department for 4 years, and there he learned much about the intelligence community, found how whites got evaluated over blacks by changing the evaluations in the safe the day before the promotions. He caught the misappropriation of hundreds of thousands of dollars to white mafia leaders to rehab federal facilities. He went to the NAACP at 22 and took over with 15 of his college friends. Became the Political Action Board of Directors member of the Chicago NAACP without ever buying a membership. And after 4 years of service, he received the Board of Directors of the Year award from Vice President Mondale and Ben Hooks, then head of the NAACP. The Chicago politicians, like the Chicago wingwags and moderate heads, saw a rising young man, and all efforts were made to recruit this brother into anything that can compromise today. Sat in City Hall for a couple of years, he became the 51st alderman. Since when he was at the NAACP, he remembers the 101st Senator, Clarence Mitchell, who was his co-NAACP board man. Soon, he became the chief of staff for a Chicago elected official, then the chief investigator for the City Council Committee on Rules, then special assistant to the mayor of Chicago, till it took all of white Chicago to throw him out. He then went straight into the black community. Unlike black media, unlike black newspapers, unlike black magazines, and unlike much of black leadership, he is totally and only financed by black people. Strong in at least 57 cities in America, though he doesn't have a national organization, he works in 57 cities. Yet, there is still dissension in the black community over the direction exercised by those who claim to be of the establishment. Brother Coakley is here with us today and is behind the curtain so he can introduce himself, for there aren't yet many left who have that level of courage. So as I step up, not to talk about COINTELPRO, but to talk about those who feed into that bullshit and are in now Intelpro, though they swear they doing something else. Though the audience is not packed tonight, you're gonna leave out of here and do something to somebody because it's that type of motion. You'll learn why it is that no one will even advance the program, even though it has no peer in the black community. Now we're going to hear from the brother who busted the ADL 10 years before the San Francisco police. We're going to hear from the brother who busted the Boule first time in the history of the black race. We're going to look down at that brother's table and we're going to find information that can't be found nowhere in the history of black America, let alone Africa. Still, Negroism, moderatism, have a little want some more Negroism, now Intelproism is getting a deep success. I'm proud to introduce myself. Show you right, loud and uncensored from the very beginning. You might not understand why I would do it like that, but at least that would get you in the mood that I'm in. I've been pretty ill this week. Brother Khaled was in town, and though I got myself on his program so I could back him up and stood up against the ADL, and I just really been doing more than my share. So I've been in the bed the last couple of days, so I'm even glad to be up and about. But what you will understand is that as long as somebody's got a tape, as long as someone will advance the message, you will find out that the weight of the information will outlast those who couldn't stand to hear it. If you promote in the black community, it's very likely that you would understand that nothing could disappoint you, because in dealing with African people, one thing, or even with humans, you'll learn is you're bound to be disappointed. But that would be falling in the now Intelpro. If someone says somebody's banned on the radio and you banned them, then are you aiding and abetting? Are you quietly acquiescing? Or are you perpetrating? So it becomes what the enemy has and all those who play into the enemy's ass. Today, I'm going to probably show you as comprehensive an examination of the intelligence community as you could get from anyone who's been in it or out of it. When it comes to examining the subject of COINTELPRO, I would stake my life on this. These two books right here are the original government printing office documents of COINTELPRO that came out in 1976. I bet you there ain't 10 people in the black community nationwide that have the Senate intelligence summary, detailed intelligence activities, and the rights of Americans. COINTELPRO is just one part of a series of things that came out of the church committee hearings. COINTELPRO is deceptive at.
Now, when you come upon this video, copy this video and share it. And when days to come, I want you to reflect on this video and see all what I'm showing you and talking to you about is on time. But before we go any further, I want to say why I'm doing this. I am a FOI soldier in the Nation of Islam. My duty is to unite my people, black people, and protect the women and children of my nation. I will perform my duty faithfully, regardless to whom or what. My life and my death are all for Allah, and I will be loyal and obedient to the Supreme Being Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, who has the authority over me. And also, I give honor to his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who taught me and is still teaching me about who I am, who the enemy is, and my people, why they act the way they act, why they do the things they do. Because they were brainwashed and programmed for over 400 years, and is still being programmed, but they can't see it. So my will is to do his will, the Lord of all the worlds. And I say, oh Allah, guide me on the right path, on the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, and not on the path whom thy wrath has brought down, nor on the path of those that go astray, especially after they have heard thy teachings.
Yes, because it is the leg or the last leg of a black genocidal program. The last leg. We on cruise now. Cruise means that they've set up the majority. They set up the majority of what they want to see done. The enemy is setting up the majority of what they wanted to see done, such that the enemy's program now is on remote control. Meaning that now the people police themselves. The hunky don't have to police the people no more. The people, so afraid of the hunky, self-perpetrate COINTELPRO. That's right. These documents cost $4. When I hear people talk about the program, I know sometimes how little they know about how extensive the whole program was. Things like efforts to prevent speaking, efforts to prevent teaching, efforts to prevent writing and publishing, efforts to prevent meeting. Now people talk about the program to stop the rise of the Black Messiah. Shit, that's been going on since Kemet. So what was it in 023? 12, 11, 13, 17, 18, 1781, 1891. Before it was even COINTELPRO, the program for white control uses the intelligence community, but it's just like a tool to the whole operation. But fear dominates the African community in spite, because we perpetrate the legacy of whites. Willie Lynch lives. The other day, when a brother, Willie Lynch down here, called in the radio, he asked Linda Mitchell, did you ever hear about the Rumor Control Network? She said, no, I never heard about that. Well, quite frankly, Baltimore, in fact, is anyone here today from the Baltimore Commission on Human Relations? Anybody here from the Baltimore Commission on Human Relations? No? All right. See, it becomes spying when you ask a government employee if they're in a meeting and they don't answer that they are a government employee. That's when it becomes spying. Anybody here from the U.S. Justice Department, Community Relations Service? Anybody here from the Justice Department? All right. That's all right, because as long as we don't catch them, it's okay. One of the great things about how COINTELPRO got revealed, part of it was that people broke into some offices. They broke into some offices while some people had tipped away. And when they broke into the FBI offices, they found what? The names. One of the names they found in Media, Pennsylvania was Julius Butler. We're still jamming Julius Butler right now. 1997, Johnny Cochran is trying to bust FBI informant Julius Butler to get Geronimo Pratt out of jail. But that got taken not because people obeyed censorship, not because people stopped at red lights, not because people perpetrated the fear of people weaker than them. It's because somebody took it upon themselves to break into an office in the name of justice. And you know, in the name of justice, you liable to have to do some shit tougher than that. But if you won't even do that, it's not likely justice even gonna turn the corner. You're gonna be a Primico looking for justice. And all you're gonna see is horses going around track. Next race go around the same track. 10 years later, they still around the same track. So
don't forget, Judas had his informant. Jesus had his informant, Judas. Judas was an informant for the Romans and the Jews. And they had Jesus on trial. And it states in the Bible, we're going to read from St. John. I think it's St. John's. Later on, we ain't going to do it. And I ain't going to interrupt Steve Copley's flow no more. But St. John's, I'm telling it like this so you can get your Bibles. St. John's 8:39. Read that from 8:39 to 8:47. Get your Bibles out, study that. I'm going to read it later on anyway. So let's get back.
Waiting for justice, seen a horse named Justice? I said, nah, man. One named crime, one named democracy. This doesn't sound like a devil's playground. Quite frankly, what makes Brother Copley so effective is that he's never looked at anything and not imposed it in the public. It's unfortunate that Tyrone Powers isn't here today with me, because one of the things that really would have made everyone want to come, see, all my friends want to come tomorrow to see if I'm going to knock his ass out. But I told them if they didn't hear the lesson from today, they wasn't going to see me tomorrow. Because you don't never know what weight you can put on somebody without even touching them. And you're going to feel the weight that I drop in the room today. Principle is that one of the things you learn about the intelligence community, stopping the rise of a black messiah is one thing. COINTELPRO will tell you that. But it doesn't tell you that that's based on an early warning system. An early warning system, ring-a-ling-a-ding program. Paul Revere, I see the British coming shit. In principle, if it ain't no early warner, it can't be no analysis that compels attack. If you think Malcolm's getting too strong and you prefer someone else, then only way you get that level of feeling is your early warner or your thermometers give you that reflection. So you can't have what they did without how they use other people to warn of here comes Boldu. back in 1978. In fact, I guess I could just as easily show it to you. Part of how I heard this. This is one of the ADL reports. You want some examples of now Intel Pro before I get going good? What happened in Philadelphia last Monday, Operation Cool Down. In Philadelphia last Monday, a protest was going on in an area where whites be messing with blacks. But then knowing that now the NAACP and the Urban League, they don't work like they used to. You can sit them out there and they put their hands up and shit, say, oh, slow this thing down. Now that don't work no more. Now you have to use something that looks more relevant. So in Philadelphia, last week, the people who called the protest cut it off. Even though the little people who are victimized by the hatred protested anyway. Do you know what's going on in Philadelphia today? Who's in Philadelphia today? Anybody want to raise their hand and tell me? Who's in Philly today? Every damn body, ain't it? Clinton, Colin Powell, George Bush, Jimmy Carter, every damn body's in Philly today. And if they had disruptions last Monday, it wouldn't have been no volunteerism conference today. So you have Operation Cool Down. You get someone in to diffuse the tension. And Minister Farrakhan went into an ecumenical service. And the ecumenical service was a distraction from the protests. That's the fact. That's the fact. The vitality, another thing you need to pick up on. What is the relationship between the intelligence community and those members in the nation who set up Malcolm X for death? If forces incited by the Nation of Islam did the killing, if somebody hadn't set the atmosphere, the killing couldn't have never went down. I mean, without the foreplay, it ain't the sex. So you can't make the foreplay incidental to the sex. Jesse Jackson, another leader, a byproduct of assassination, meaning that these are relationships with whites that'll last till they die. They have a mutual understanding to protect each other as long as they live. I'm from Chicago. I know both men very well. And I know Harold Washington, who's dead. There was a difference. Not that there was a difference in the fact of being successful. All of them are successful for the goals that they insinuate in the public. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't want you to underestimate the intelligence community's relationship in advancing the future of black leadership. And if you sleep with them one day, you in bed with them forever. You can't be in it on assassination in the 60s and you gonna fight them in the 80s. Steve Coakley was chairman of the Coin Strike Counterintelligence Forum of the first 8 Saviors Day. If you find any of them tapes, you probably can't find none of them. But if you found any of them, you would see me, Thomas Mitchell, Louis Myers, who was the attorney up under Ben Chavis when he was up in here, Sonia Sanchez, Jack Giles, Attorney Jack Giles, and others wailing away on the intelligence community. Brother Coakley's contribution was he found the things that were relevant to the person who could see them in their day-to-day activity. So one thing you tell them CIA, they crew cut, then tie, white shirt, suit. Not necessarily so. So if you don't see that, you would think that couldn't be. The man who's blowing in the lips of Malcolm X, CIA. The man who's looking down at Martin King to see he's dead becomes CIA. Don't even count the men pointing in the wrong direction. Andy Young and Jesse Jackson. Bobby Rush, Congressman, Chicago, byproduct of assassination. Fred Hampton and Mark Clark. When Bobby thinks he's going to get killed, he runs to Jesse Jackson's house and hides out. It's a safe house for the Negro population. Now he's congressman, Black Panther. Don't seem logical, wasn't logical then either. But the other brothers are dead, Fred Hampton, Mark Clark. People know about COINTELPRO, but how does that affect now Intelpro? Because everything we're suffering of now ain't but some leftover shit from then. You're suffering from leadership that can't take you to the promised land because they're already tied up. Black radio ain't black. Ain't a black advertiser on it. So if you in 4 cities and I'm in 52, all by just blacks, and you in 4 just by whites, who's the blackest? Emerge, Black Enterprise. There ain't no investigative reporting in the Baltimore Afro-American. They do press releases, pictures, parties, the Links Fall Festival, which is a big part of now Intelpro in Washington, D.C. They done took the town. Barry standing there butt naked. He ain't even running his own draws. He can't hire, he can't fire. They have election for a school board on Tuesday. They replace him on Wednesday. Then I heard Lisa Mitchell telling the people to come out and vote. But never discussing the impact of the last damn vote. That's now Intelpro. To keep perpetrating this shit that don't add up. Now, y'all can never call a question. Y'all could even sleep with it and swear you're successful. But we strong up in the bowels of the black community, and I swear to God, we'll block your ass just when you think you're on holiday. That's right. Yeah, your shit is only good when they win it. But we really got your ass cut off. You know, it's funny, I was telling people, I said, hey, what do you think we would find? What would we find? Light distortion, something should open up here maybe. No, it's on the screen. You can see it on the screen. It's just not where you seeing it?
I get a lesson.
No, here's it right there. Where is it? Oh shit, man. There we go. Look at that white. Yeah, what we got there? Oh yeah. Anybody know what that is? Thank you, brother. Shit, if I waited long enough, I heard Baltimore City Council and shit. Well, it's usually the some screw should tighten that arm up. Yeah, something maybe this goes up. Something should make it whole. Yeah, is that it? Oh no. Oh, hold it. Oh, there we go. Thank you, sister. Show you right. Appreciate you, brother. Oh yeah, that's great. Which one of these rooms? Do you know CIA got a program just for historically black colleges? For professors, administrators, and students. That's all they do. In fact, right down there on that table is the CIA stuff we took off of Florida A&M, which is one of the top military intelligence schools in this country. One of the things we know about what the opposition depends upon is those Huxtable children rising up and absorbing the values of America. So we penetrated them Huxtable campuses. Only 2 that got away is Morgan and Howard. But Florida A&M, North Carolina Central, North Carolina A&T, Howard, Spelman, Atlanta U, Morris, Brown, and Clark. I'll walk you around this country. We have broken in half the reinforcements for white America. CIA is most well received on the black campuses. But one of these rooms is the historically black college room. Maybe it's that one. Maybe this is Baltimore. Maybe that's Washington. And I was telling my man, I said, you know, one day we're going to get in there. He said, man, that shit is impossible. Next thing you know, that damn movie came out. Dun, 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 dun. What was the damn movie about? Thank you. Going in the facility to get some information. Yeah. So if it can be perceived, it can be achieved, no question. But it's one of those rooms. Is CIA higher than FBI? That's an important question. Because when you raise COINTELPRO, you got to know, is CIA higher than FBI? Is National Security Council higher than CIA? You got to know the ranking of the intelligence community. In fact, you got to really know that it ain't no one or the other. That's possible. But the bottom line is that it's all a community. They all act together. They make the intelligence community. The Defense Department, the State Department, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force Intelligence, the Energy Department, National Foreign Intelligence Board, the Intelligence Community Executive Committee. What is their role in COINTELPRO? Or is they working some shit higher than that? So you need to look at the axis of intelligence. They say, hey, 2 trucks are missing, got military shit on it, so they turn to the satellites and cut off the credit cards. So you may have an FBI investigation using the Central Imagery Office for information. Imagery Office bring you down the satellite, run it over to the FBI. They ain't got satellites. So you can't do one without the other. If something is dead, was COINTELPRO successful? That's an important question we need to consider. Was it successful? Yeah, it was. That was in 75. What they doing now? How did the intelligence community evolve in a way that the people remain dumbfounded about its existence? And in many cases, scared to talk about it. Soon we're going to have a symposium on intelligence, because I see that the people even need it more than I thought. I know there's conflict avoidance, but I think people need it more than I ever thought. So that we can widen out our understanding. And I'm going to tell you what, if you don't start getting certified and knowing this shit, you're going to get knocked out of your shit. I'm going to say that again, because you end up like C. Miles, a sucker perpetrator. So now we better have orientation for freedom fighters. Because if we don't, you're going to go out and perpetrate some bad stuff under a good cause, feeling that you're doing the right thing. Maybe living and dying and never knowing the difference. I remember we go to Morgan for an auditorium like this and be standing room only. This is what they've done to me in 5 years of being around here. In DC, on a Wednesday night, we could get 1,000 people in the Blackburn Center. Now we can't even walk in the Blackburn Center. It's what they done to us in just 5 years of time. Barry sitting up there, won the mayor's election. They had put in a financial control board. Who the man run the control board? Andrew Bremer. Is he CIA? Is he FBI? Is he B'nai B'rith? Is he American Jewish Congress? That's the bottom line, is that on the upper level intelligence, the same people wear many hats. They put different hats on. They're a fireman one day, they're a social worker the next, they're a policeman the next week, and they're a nurse the next month. In the real intelligence community, the man who blew down Malcolm's breath was a state informant for Boss. But after that, they hired Roberts in the CIA. The man who ran up to Martin King after he was shot, he was FBI informant then, but after that, he was CIA. Success advances your hat. Understanding that we were running a no-compromise operation, I began to watch the little piddly Negro leadership and wannabe fake radicals in Washington begin to tell the people, man, that Coakley gonna get us in trouble. You can't be fucking around with no government up here in Washington, talking about no trilateral commission, no boule bullshit, messing around with no intelligence community stuff, and you only 10 blocks from the people. They'll come and get you. Well, Baba, last I checked, we was all on the list anyway. Early warning system. I brought some things up here you want to look at. The ADL file that was taken out of their offices that had the FBI files in it when they raided them in San Francisco, showing profiles of all the Nation of Islam members. The military intelligence community, a real good book on intelligence. Why? Because there's certain things about intelligence that they have not shared with the African community in a way that would make it effective against the intelligence community. And that involves let's see, I need one of my boxes. I need one of these, and I know I got 100 of them, but I'd be scared if I looked down in my box and didn't see it. The transparency pen. I got 100. Somebody flip that box open and see if there's one in there. It's a thick, oh, maybe I got it in my back pocket. I don't know why I didn't comb my hair in a month. There we go, I got one. Yeah, got it. Thank you, bro. This like this here, intelligence community works off of this in principle. Now, somebody tell me they break away intelligence, I'd be looking for something like that. Because they can't tell me they don't operate and don't know that format. What is that format? This is how everybody gets fucked. Intentions, Coakley wants to fuck us up and knock us out. If he ever got powerful and had money, he'd murder us. Correct? He got 20 people in Baltimore. Capability? Zero. Well, no, it's a fake out now. I'm doing my own intelligence. Now I'm throwing my own bones. That's countering the intelligence program. We'll talk about that because I'm a master of that. I take people on the road with me now, and I have them standing at the table. It was just in Atlanta, right? Standing room only, run up to the table. I said, now I take these two brothers. They'll be up here a little later. I said, now let's count the number of people. I took Charles on some trips with me. Count the number of people who ask me where I'm going next. So we get to the lecture 2 hours early. 3 brothers are standing outside to carry my stuff in. As soon as I throw the stuff down, I say, Bro Coakley, where is it you going when you leave here? So I turned to my man and said, write that down, that's one. We stood there at the table 18 times before the lecture started. People asked me, where was I going when I left there? Now, I said, and I'd ask them first, do you mean when is my next lecture here? They said, no, where are you going after here? I said, well, let me ask you, you going there? Need to know basis. I said, give me your name and number. Oh, I don't want to do that. So sit your ass on down there. I'm on the catch the spy program, shit. And I know as a magnet, I make shit stick. Shit comes up to me. If you're in a proactive program, you will make the intelligence community come out. That's right. I was listening to Tyrone Powers on the way up here for an hour. He don't even mention the program. Last week, only mentioned his program. At least when Donald was only mentioned both of them. Our side want to hear the other side heard too. In fact, we should all be able to hear each other. And as adults, you discern what is of value. Now, late in the game, the enemies fuck. They believe they need blind loyalty. That's why I stand alone as the perpetrator against the oath takers. The Masons, the Greeks, the police, the lawyers, the judges, the doctors who swore to something other than the black. You don't need to be in military intelligence if you're going to take an oath never to give a nigga a garlic tablet. You're going to give him laser surgery. Say, I got hemorrhoids. I say, well, you go to naturopath. You say, take these garlics for 3-4 days. Sit in a tub. It should go away. You go to the brother man who's the doctor. He took the Hippocratic oath. He said, looks like we need this $1,600 laser surgery shit. And he can't give you garlic. $3.99 a bottle. That's the problem with oath takers. I had a disagreement with Brother Khaled the other night because I've been putting so much pressure on the oath takers. I hurt little Malik Zulu Shabaz's feelings. But when you doing counterintelligence, you don't have no friends. You do like this. That's the only way it'll work. If you don't go it like that, it ain't gonna never work. I'm gonna tell you that again. If you don't have it, it's gonna be your woman. It's going to be your man. In the early stages of your life, it's your mama and your daddy. We're talking about the agents of social control that make niggas behave in fear of white retaliation. See, you don't need no intelligence community to do that. And there is an intelligence community. That's the real deal. Intentions, free South Africa. Oh, I got this wrong. I'm just sitting there messing up my own stuff. Now, I'd have killed my own students. Y'all let me stand up here and write the wrong thing down. This is the way it's supposed to go. I plus C equal T. That's the way it really goes. Intentions plus capability equal threat. Free South Africa. Ain't got no plane ticket. 0. That's the intelligence. So they look up, they say, well, damn, you hear that nigga talking shit? Say, don't worry, he ain't got nothing to work with. Now that's how they work. That's called a probability scale. Write that shit down. That's the bottom line on intelligence. So the nation may be a 1 in 10. The NAACP may be a 1 in 100. The Urban League may be 1 in 1,000. How do you decide where do you send your spies based upon the highest level of probability? You understand that? COINTELPRO don't say that. Because that's given in intelligence. This is a version of an overt program, but it's not the foundation of it. We wiretapped Martin King's phone. This is what we found in Martin King's sex life. Martin King mail intercepts. Martin King attempted suicide allegations. Mailing the tapes to Martin King's wife. Sending the tapes around to the government. That's how they did something. But it doesn't tell you that Martin King laying up next to Kwame Ture, sitting with the militants. Martin King was as inclusive a black leader. Ain't a nigga alive now as inclusive as Martin King was. I have come to learn that. Martin King sat with the people who he didn't agree with. Ain't a Negro leader around do that now. They only get in preferred sex. Intention plus capability equal threat. The foundation of the American intelligence community. The probability scale. Probability is the early warning system. Now, you may say, well, let's see if I can find this. I need to find something for you. And I hate to put this microphone down to do it. But let's see here. Here it is. Let's get straight to what the role of the intelligence community is. See, the FBI doesn't think about fucking Martin. It is to fuck Martin. Say, kill Martin, get Martin. But who says get Martin? Well, the probability scales are turned over to somebody in the black community. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm all over the black nation. Even them robe-wearing, African-talking blacks. They've been at Felicity's the last couple of weeks in D.C. In D.C., you can talk about anything except for the takeover of the fucking government. They talk about Mars. They got Hanzo going to the moon and shit. They're all over the motherfucking place as long as they don't fuck with the Capitol. They can get on the radio all damn day and night, but just don't fuck with the Capitol. Don't fuck with the takeover of D.C. until we're finished. Never in the history of American politics have two chairmen of the city council died in office. John Wilson was found hung so Marion Barry could be the mayor, and then this other boy all of a sudden gets a sick degenerate disease and drops dead. Real fast, worked on his ass so fast it had to be toxins from the CIA. Two local D.C. boys who would have resisted the takeover. Only two men who were there from the beginning of the D.C. government besides the intelligence man, Marion Barry. First thing Marion Barry did when he won the office was prove he was an intelligence officer. To get out of jail, he repudiated the black militants. First day in office. And I went all over the cities and I said, look at this. They made him repudiate Leonard Jeffries. They repudiated Copeland. He repudiated Farrakhan. He repudiated Malik Zulu Shabazz at a Ward 3 meeting, white area. Said there'll be no place for these people in my town. Then they said, you know, as an intelligence community, they know that we are the only ethnic group ever to cut itself off from its militants. Right. You ain't seen Newt Gingrich repudiate one motherfucking militia. Would one white conservative man repudiate one bomber? If he did, he'd have no backup. How you gonna go against a world power with no backup? You might not like the militants, but damn, if they fight, set them up to fight. But if you ain't no fighter, you a getter, and you cut yourself off from the fighters, your well will run dry. I know that. I've been the reason I read off where I've been is to talk to all them niggas who run from me like I'm so into something that I am a product of all that they thought they wanted to be. Been offered more money than they ever seen just to shut the fuck up, not to talk to 13 people. And I understand that. That's all right. The odds are all right. Because you know what? The only way you can upset intelligence is to be underestimated. So we can do this on one day. I don't mind. It don't hurt me. I know this tape. That's the word. That's another dangerous thing. You see, you go to these cities. I'll be standing at the airport. Somebody beep beep. Some bus driver on the little bus going around the airport. He said, "What's up, bro?" So he give me that Bogart. I put that Bogart. "What's up, bro?" I give him that Bogart back and I say, see they don't know who it is. They can't tell which one's it get. It's just an underground thing. How did the boy Peruvians get up on other boys? They went to underground. Loud music on the front for decoy and underground on the bottom. But we don't even want to get dirty. What's the Secretary of Defense's name? See, y'all scare me and shit. William Cohen. Bob, you got to quit giving up the goddamn punchlines. I didn't bring you here to give up no punchlines. Now you know I know you know. Now I can't ask them the question. The question was, who is the Secretary of Defense? And the answer is William Cohen. Who's his wife? A black woman, right? Yeah, Janet Langhart. Oh, yeah, used to be a newswoman, especially from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. She was on CBS in Chicago, Janet Langhart. I remember when he was getting sworn in, she was rubbing him. That's right, baby. Gore was swearing him in, and she was saying, yeah, she was doing the black thing on him. Y'all ever seen Harlem Nights? Yeah. Because we got a name for Janet Langhart, and it's called Sunshine. Yeah. That's the counterintelligence program. Now, if you saw the Washington Weekly last week, they had her on the cover and it said, "Make things grow." She ain't even a story, she just on the cover. That's what Sunshine does, it makes things grow. What does Sunshine do? No, what did she do in Harlem Nights? She pulled the homeboy up to do what? Give up the money. Gave up the coochie to throw him down in the bed to take him off the route. Right. Okay. He left his wife. Left his wife, but the main thing was to pull him off the street to let the brothers go out and take the Okay, y'all want to whip the intelligence program? How many of y'all willing to take an assignment to sleep with someone you don't want? To take them off the action? Y'all ready? Brother said no. That's what I call the Sadiddy revolution. We want to revolve, but we don't want to do shit. We don't want to get dirty. We don't even want to go underground. Look, I got pictures of y'all having sex for no reason at all. Don't tell me you won't have it for a reason. Now, come on, don't make me pull my tapes out. Y'all ready? Oh, wait a minute. See, they don't want the people to hear Brother Copeland. This shit is like cancer. And I'm going to tell you, if I'm lying, the people throw me out of here. That's right. But it's too real. This reality is really going to speak. Yes, brother. Yeah, they perpetrating that big time. That's been going on since the 60s. They perpetrate it on TV. As long as we don't fall for it. See, I don't mind. They beat each other upside the head and dog down each other and trash each other up. That's cool. Just as long as we pull back up off of it. That's what's important to us. Okay, let me zoom into something here. Enough of the jokes and shit. Let me get on to some serious work here. Now, one of the things I'm going to do with you before you leave out of here is I'm going to teach you something about network analysis. This is how the intelligence community sits up. Now, see, I'm going to tell you something. Somebody tell you they come out of intelligence and they don't come in here and drop you down some format, some ways by which they do things. In fact, maybe this out right. Okay, format. Most of intelligence is density, actual number of relations, number of persons, number of theoretically possibility persons, possible relations, all that shit in a damn mathematical model. What does that mean? That means that much of intelligence is technical, much more technical and scientific. Even an informant has to go through it in computer analysis to come up with their level of reliability. But we're going to go through this about density. How you say reality speaks is person. Okay, where we at here? Let me go into the model. Let me find the right one. Say, we'll get to this one. I don't want to go here yet. I just want to tell you, we're going to get to that before we get out of here. Because I want you to learn that. And I especially want my brothers to learn it, and sisters here in Baltimore. But I want to go first to the essence of intelligence. And the essence of intelligence makes you understand how intelligence fits in the real world. Real world intelligence says that that might be the CIA. In fact, this is kind of funny. While Maxine Waters and them was upstairs at the Black Caucus speaking against the CIA was downstairs passing out programs. This is what we call now and tell pro. Now don't forget this now. Let me do this again. This is what we call now and tell pro. This is we asked Jesse Jackson, hey, what's your involvement with the Council on Foreign Relations? He says, I've never really been to a meeting, but I spoke at some of them. It's where you hear two contradictory statements at the same time. That's when you know you got intelligence on your hands. And I say intelligence rather than CIA, FBI, United Way, ADL, because they all work on the same format. Pardon me? The what kind of inspector? They do what they told. They like the FBI crime lab. They'll cock up anything they need at any time they want it. At least now in this lifetime, you getting to hear Hunky say, fuck, we ain't never been worried about no facts. You want this nigga? Shit, yeah, shit say that. The key thing, I ain't heard no one say, I'm gonna bust some shit up for you big time. The biggest thing that the FBI lab did was convict that boy in Atlanta all in murders. They said that the fibers on that, but one single person brought back up the fact that the FBI lab cleaned his ass beyond reason. He's supposed to be driving a car with a child in his hand, throws the child out the window while the car is moving, throws it so far out the window they throws it over the ledge of a bridge and down in the water while he's driving. He's driving with one hand. He throws the person out the window, out and over the bridge with one hand. That's what they needed to do to convict him. But look at what they did to Richard Jewell to get the people to keep going to the Olympics. That's why if you let a motherfucker stand up and tell you some shit about me, don't wait 10 years to find out they was liars. So Richard Jewell, he's a hunky, they give him money. Sit your ass down. Okay, we use your ass. Shit is over, shut up. So intelligence sometimes says bad shit just to make economics work. Economics was more important than the sister's death. When I was down in Atlanta, they kept associating that Freaknik was coming up at the same time as the Oklahoma bombing. And I warned them kids, you know what we did? And I'll show you the flyers. We put flyers all out down and said, look, hunkies, fuck with one of these blacks and we gonna come on your ass up through Stone Mountain. You will never forget the 80,000 of us that went up there looking for you. I'm gonna show you another Operation Cool Down. 300,000 people in the middle of New York. Winnie Mandela's about to come up and speak. A strange note shows up, don't even know from where to this day. Winnie Mandela cannot speak. With 300,000 people there to back her up, they stand there and hold her hand up in the public and put it down. And have some strange man read some shit off a paper saying that was her speech. But these supposed to be the baddest blacks you ever had. But 300,000 ain't enough to back up a sister. And then Mandela over there giving amnesty to every hunky, kill Steve Biko. So how you gonna give amnesty to the murderers of Biko and lock your ex-wife up for speaking in America? That's now Intel Pro. So what the CIA is, the FBI is, the Army, Navy, Air Force intelligence is, they're no more than griffins. You know what a griffin is, don't you? Excuse me. I wish I had something to set this on. A griffin is a guardian animal. A griffin is a guardian animal. No different than this. What is this? I thought y'all seen them? TV. Oh, no, you don't do that. I'll be all right. Yeah, I'm okay. I'll be all right. No problem. I appreciate you. This is a list of gargoyles. They hang on where? Buildings. They hang on the edge of buildings. What do? They even got a cartoon that implicate the children. They have psych ops. The children, psychological operations. They have put on the children to let them accept. One day I saw the gargoyles, somebody sent me a tape. The gargoyles, they watched some shit good enough, they made them Illuminati. What kind of stuff is this? So we're gonna look up, and you gotta know that intelligence is no more than a guardian animal. It's not the main man. The intelligence community is not the main man. If I had to have you want to plan a counterattack, I would want you to know who were the blockers, but remember who got the ball. Oh yeah. Check. Yeah. So don't fall for we're looking at the layer of that which protects what we're after. Check. Yeah. Okay. You with me there? This is a Grecian Sphinx. Does it look a little like the gargoyle? Oh yeah. Look a little like the griffin? Yeah. They all perform the same function. They're a guardian animal. Intelligence is a guardian animal. What does a guardian animal do? Oh, that's right. good things? No. They perform a dual role, not merely acting as guardians, but also symbolizing the dangerous aspect of the thing they guard, or in the case of sacred buildings, of the power of the presence within. Guardians of the threshold must be overcome before the sacred realm can be entered. That's what Martin King was saying before they killed him. But you can read into there. Treasures and entrances of temples, churches, and other sacred places are guarded by dragons, lions, winged bulls, serpents, scorpion men, gargoyles, a great variety of fearsome creatures, all indicating the dangers of leaving one known state. But you can read into there. Treasures and entrances of temples, churches, and other sacred places are guarded by dragons.
Y'all heard that? Churches, temples.
They perform a dual role, not merely acting as guardians, but also symbolize dangerous aspect of the thing they guard, or in the case of sacred buildings, of the power of the presence within. Guardians of the soul must be overcome before the sacred realm can be entered. That's what Martin King was saying before they killed him. But you can read into there. Treasures and entrances. Most churches and other sacred places are guarded by dragons, lions, winged bulls, serpents, scorpion men, gargoyles, a great variety of fearsome creatures, all indicating the dangers of leaving one known state to confront the unknown and the esoteric. The dragon, the serpent, or Naga is the most usual guardian. As such, is generally depicted as guarding the most dangerous of all things, the tree of knowledge. So if Brother Coakley is a standalone in the history of his race, and the guardian animal said, no, don't go near that, you would understand where knowledge fits in their role. Fabulous monsters have their own specialized functions. The griffin, or being the bird of gold, naturally guards the gold mines. The sphinx guards esoteric knowledge, and the eagle watches over the entranceway to the two gates. And that's why when we even go through the Boule stuff, we talk about why the Masons are double-headed eagle. Because if you know what an eagle does as a guardian animal, you know he got to watch how many gates. So how many heads does he need? Because one is east and one is west. Now, what about military intelligence? So here, let's go. This is a Grecian Sphinx, female Sphinx, a Greek tradition, has its origins in a fairy tale motif. Sphinx was often winged, always female, a demon lurking on the side of the road, challenging travelers to solve her riddle and devouring all those who could not. This is that's the thing I use for the Boule. But I wanted to let you know that when we had went to pick up what was going on at military intelligence, all we found was what we found with the Boule. That sits outside the headquarters of Army Intelligence. That's a guardian animal. They straight up tell you just what the hell they are and what they do. Guard something that's higher than themselves. So now, if we kill tomorrow the perpetrators of, who are still living, of COINTELPRO, would the principals be dead? No. We would only have taken the layer off. Because one thing we know about intelligence is like what they say on this one here. Said a guardian animal is always out front. That's how you know. That's why I said an early warning system. Paul Revere, the scout. What the man just said, scout, you go up in there, tell us what you see. This shit looks clear, we'll advance. Understand that? So, says the insignia of military intelligence corps, the SPEAKS, at the Shield Center has been associated with U.S. military intelligence since 1923. That's interesting that U.S. intelligence got it in 23, because the black man took it in 19.
John Hawkins, 1555, 20 years before 1555, was commissioned by the Queen of England to go into Africa as a scout, pretending to be a trader, to study and profile the tribe of Shabazz. The tribe of Shabazz was the first slaves to come over. He was using tricknology because we were naive, innocent of lies. Our word was our bond. Let's get back with it.
1904. But they all knew what they were doing. Now, if the top black people agree to be no more than a guardian animal for the top white people, what is the destiny of the race? They don't have one. Thank you. Their goal is to sacrifice themselves on behalf of what they love more. That's why y'all loyalty scare me. Persecution is worse than that. When it's over, it's over. When they kick the niggas in the oven, they won't know the difference. It'll be over. The Greed niggas, WOL niggas, Baltimore Oriole niggas, Raven niggas, all of them burn just alike. At that point, it'll be too late. Now, when you got a dog, what do you put on a dog's neck? And what's on the dog's collar? There you go, Baba. You don't put the dog's name. The damn dog tag don't say Rover. It say Mr. and Mrs. Kurt Smoke, 3211. Kiss white folks ass drive. And when we learned about the Rhodes Scholars, we had to take it to him. We ain't gonna learn about the Rhodes Scholars and say, "Ooh, look, there's Kurt Smoke." Say, "Hey, let's go see his ass." I mean, I didn't want to get into all the history with that. That's another story. But look what's around this damn dog's neck. His owner's logo. What's his owner's logo? Circle. Circle. With another circle inside of it. Now, if you walked up on that dog, if you knew something about secret societies, you'd know where that dog belonged to. But if you didn't know the code, if you didn't know that, and I use this evidence as 2 ex-CIA officers. See, it'd be scary. People be on the radio all day and don't know basic things, because then when they perpetrate, they end up falsely perpetrating. Say this book here, you get this book, CIA and the Code of Intelligence. The main thing is that these 2 ex-CIA men described that the principal constituent of the CIA was the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations. But the thing to the Council on Foreign Relations is that it is an extension of a secret society. That formula is a circle within a circle. That's why when you look inside the Boule logo, what do you see? What do you see in that urn? I mean, maybe you don't see it. Can you see it, bro? All right, because I don't know if they can see it now. All right. Now, is the urn open? Paul's doing what? Covering it. So the paw or the guardian animal is protecting something that's in the urn. And in the urn is a circle within a circle. I mean, it wouldn't make no sense till you look at this other damn dog and saw one on his neck too. U.S. Army Intelligence Center, Fort Huachoka, sitting right out front. Meaning, intelligence is nothing but a guardian animal. It's another look at Fort Huachoka. Looks busy. Looks like they can listen to phone calls on 1010 in Baltimore. So, then you look up, see that the black men, see in this one where they tell what the paw is doing, they don't want to put something on the inside. The urn in the pen is guarded by the paw. Represents the container which will place the names of Greek citizens, mainly since you're talking about whites. You're talking about Greek citizens, white citizens, who would be chosen by lot to lead the state. So that means that they tell who they are, or they don't tell. Is that COINTELPRO? Did you see anything in COINTELPRO about stopping A5A? You see anything in COINTELPRO stopping AKA? I didn't see one page. I got the whole books. I told you all ain't 10 niggas in America got these books. I got the books. Ain't no stop the black church in here. Ain't no stop the black lawyers in here. In fact, ain't no oath takers in here. The only thing intended to attack were non-oath takers and oath takers who broke their oath, like Martin Luther King, by breaking the domestic bind and going international against the war in Vietnam and other things where he felt frustrated and had to make change to be relevant. There ain't no program in here about breaking up black radio. That ain't on here, because all you gotta do is pull back the money. Ain't no blacks financing it. But you give more credibility to that which whites bring you than that which blacks do. It's the impact of COINTELPRO. That's now INTELPRO. So these men go in every city, they become the top blacks. We know, and Brother Donald puts this out 800 million times, about the fact that we know they're connected to the round table. I'm not even going there. And we know that quickly tells us that the round table is the secret society of the circle within a circle. And so, again, and that's why they saying that's their planet, because pi equals round table. And my only point is, I don't mean to repeat some stuff I told you before, especially for those who just walked in. But my point at this little segment here was to remind you that intelligence is just a guardian animal. You can beat its ass all day, they'd hire a replacement tomorrow. You must make it unsafe to be a spy. Sometimes you're going to have to do the sunshine. Sometimes you're going to have to go underground. Some days you will have to kill. If you don't, you'll die. You'll go home and you'll struggle with this. You'll delay decisions and the thing will get worse. You might think it's getting better. I mean, even white boys then took it straight up. Go quietly or else. He knew this was your Governor Mellon. He knew it was in or out. There's no doubt about it. There was no doubt about it. It was in or out. But that's just for that section that I want to share with you now, to line it up in a way that we're going to go into the second half in a minute. And I'm going to try to tie some things down. Now, I listen to WOL very carefully. And I can tell you for a fact it is an agent of social control. You may believe differently, and that's all right. If I ask you to prove yourself, it wouldn't take you long to run out of gas. You might feel it's all right, but you don't know it's all right. In 1979, yeah, it's funny, we was in New York. Did we have have a speech I be telling people is that this D. Gregory and the ADL, when they riff. See, they sent some gas to themselves the other day. They do that to themselves all the time to blow up themselves. Sometimes intelligence can be confusing. You do things to yourself. When Thurgood Marshall was revealed as a what? Spy. Did you listen on the radio how they said, you know, don't ruin the man's career over being a spy. Calling up Gay Edgar Hoover and saying, give me something that I put in my speech so I could demean another black. And someone said, you know, he'd have to do that to advance his career. You think it was a difference between him and Clarence Thomas? Clarence Thomas didn't have to be an informant to be on the Supreme Court. He had to be an asshole. Asshole's a little different than an informant. Armstrong Williams is an asshole. Speaking of asshole, damn Armstrong. Yeah, he called a beef in the butt. Sexual harassment from a male. Yes, sir, last week. He's on trial now, buddy. Man said he been traveling with Armstrong for 2 years. They keep jumping into bed with him, feeling him on his buns. Armstrong said to the public at his press conference, what we really have here is a fight between two heterosexuals. And everybody hollered, yeah, at least one of them. The one trying to get away from your ass. But I remember getting into it big at WL over his right to be on the radio with that nonsense. See, don't tell me you don't do something for no reason at all when we ask you to do something for a reason. You'll hear more about that if you refuse to hear about that. See, sometimes people block shit off to justify dumb shit that they do. So they don't compute certain things that will fuck that up and make them look suspicious. So they say, oh, I didn't hear that. Yeah. Oh, that's all right, leave it there. I can get it on the way down. Ain't nothing but paper. When Martin King went to jail in Selma, he put the letter to the Greensboro jail out. Strike. Letter from the what jail? In fact, it wasn't in Selma, it was in Birmingham. I'm all wound up. And that was a letter to appeal to the people about why there needed to be change. Jesse Jackson, when he was at what college? Right, when he went to jail, what did he put out? What? He put a letter out when he went to jail. What was that called? It was the letter from the Greensboro jail. In fact, I believe somewhere that informants have a little list. First, go to jail. Even if it's 30 days for a violation of a 30-day probation. Then go to jail. Release letter from jail. Release letter from jail. Look socially relevant. Letter from the DC jail. Somewhere there must be a rise of the compromising crew handbook. Like, first you must do A, then you must do B, then you must do C. And if you don't know the inner workings of stuff and you look at the front of it, you would swear it was all right. Now, let me ask you this. I'm in the black community, 52 cities, 57, 52. Some ain't even called cities. Somebody say something about Brother Copley. First thing Brother Copley do, first chance he get, he goes to see him. Yeah, somebody perpetrates, I go see him. If it's wrong, I go see him. If it's right, maybe I can clarify it. But never would you let anybody say anything against you and you walk away. Never when you see them would you shake their hand or walk away to avoid. I'm talking about you and you run when you see me. That don't sound logical. You might not know the drama. But as soon as we start busting them big down in DC, certain crew rolls up to undermine us. This was one of our primary underminers. Brother big-time underminer. You might not know it, but Bay's a big-time 33rd degree Mason. In fact, the other day they were on the radio talking about manhood. He went through a thing about not knowing which one he was some days. Yeah, that's all right, he can be anywhere. Brother Bay, guardian animal. Q, there you go, a Q and a big-time Mason. And when the Masons were helping me decode the Mason stuff, because I didn't even know it, he came and warned them that they would cut their tongues off, and the boys never came back. You might not know any different, but I didn't have to interact with the intelligence community because I'm in a move. If you don't do nothing, ain't up to nothing, looking irrelevant, likely no one will mess with you. That'll make good decoy. There's value in those people. But some change must be demonstrated in the public in a way that others pick up on the strength of change. So some people have to risk more of themselves in the public while other people lay low and make up their mind. We've been up here trying to boycott Christmas. I look up, niggas fighting the CIA all of a sudden. Now they announced they gonna boycott Christmas. But when we was trying to do it for all other damn things, whites done done. They put a letter out against us and told us this is premature to think like that. Whites will fire all the blacks. Same people stand out in the forefront pushing it. You might not have to relate with them like that. We've had that experience. If you ever see any of these people I'm talking about, you tell them Coakley said, get a room full of your own friends. I'll walk in the lion's den with just these little pieces of paper. And if I'm lying, you can hang my ass from the stage or from the pit of a concrete wall. If I'm lying, when we start breaking down who these people really are. But one thing you'll learn is that the intelligence community cannot afford to be computated. You know, I remember in the month of April when you did this, and then in June you did that, and in August you did that. Therefore, I assume that you're this. See, when you go in April, you did that. Say, oh man, don't be adding shit up on me. Because they know if you finish computation, they get fucked. And one thing black people don't have is a scorecard. That's why the intelligence community is in this room and all them empty chairs, because black people don't even know who black people are. That's right. And black people still have to struggle with the few black people want to hear. When we start back up in the second half, I'm going to talk to you about how single-handedly I busted up the Intergroup Communications Project in Chicago. And those are a list of some of the groups who were in on the early warning system. Anti-Defamation League, we busted in 78 before they got busted in 88. But from 78 to 88, people didn't want to hear it until a white man told them. This is now Intel-Pro. It ain't good till a hunky tell me it's so. Here come Gary Webb. If a brother had wrote the story, they'd be sitting up telling you know, nigga FBI, trying to provoke some shit. That's one of the agency's greatest moves. Yeah, he must be a provocateur, trying to provoke you to get loose from this killing we get ready to put on your ass. Provoke your sleep. Provoke you from that state of consciousness that resembles sleep. That's what they call an agent provocateur. Somebody who breaks up the shit they putting on you. In the black community, you don't need an agent provocateur. It's lame and tame on its own. What is the profile of an informant? I got a file over here on the Boule and military intelligence since 1919. The story the Memphis Commercial Appeal wouldn't even touch. These relationships with these entities are historic. People still go to the entities for respect, still disrespect those who brought it up. One day, you'll be so proud of me that when I come to this town and you bring me you will stand up here and proudly introduce me to the people who you brought me to here. Right now, you might not feel it's safe enough. I ain't never been but 2 places in my life that the people who brought me wouldn't introduce me. One, I went to Hampton University to a little black study group. We got to the campus. They said, man, look, President Harvey said, he ain't gonna certify us as a black organization unless we don't let you on the campus. I said, then nigga, you got to give up the black. You can be the Negro organization. I'm going on this campus and throwing down, and Tim Wells introduced me down in Hampton. And one day I'm gonna be proud enough for you to stand up and introduce me here. We're gonna break for intermission. There's some food out there, there's vendors out there. I got tapes and things of my own down here. There's a flyer right there, the mysterious steps here. Charles, see that Kennedy head? Hand me that right there, Kennedy head. Yeah, hand me that, because they don't understand why niggas are scared of these people. That's why, you see that? That's the back of Kennedy's head being put on by a book after they blew off the white boy's head. See, the people we're going against, they do whatever they want, whenever they want to do that. We want to vote, we want to march, we got all these other things that take a long time for justice. But you got to know the role death plays in the intelligence community. Because when hey, look, if the place was packed, let's go back. There's a tape over here that I interviewed Khalid Muhammad Tuesday night. I get the chills every time I talk about this. The anniversary of Khalid being attempted assassinated is May 30th of next month, 94. It'd be 3 years. And Khalid Muhammad was packing them in. Everywhere he went, from the King College speech. The way the intelligence community worked, they lifted up his profile that the House and the Senate debated the resolutions to condemn him. The Senate Intelligence Community, Senate Intelligence Committee in private session approved his assassination attempt. The National Security Council approved his assassination attempt. The President of the United States signed off on it. The ADL, the JDL, the LaRoches, and elements of the nation were responsible for setting him up for it. Doesn't mean that everybody was in on it, but just some elements around those days were making it sure that he would be isolated enough that when they shot him, they say, he got what he had coming, talking about that no good cracker poke. So once they lifted his profile up high enough, he's packing them in everywhere he goes. Now he's got to be killed, so I guess I'm kind of glad it ain't too crowded. Maybe this many comes, and then that many more are here to take. And I hope Reality Speaks, you have permission to take this tape, sell it, put it anywhere. You have the character to stand up against it. You might file it. 10 years from now, you might use it. But I stand up on everything I show. I stand up on everything I say. The other crew is hit and run. Sleek, low profile, hide behind things given by whites. But murder is the MO when it get deep in the game. So you got to have a murder operation. In the second half, we're going to talk about phony books on intelligence. These are what I call phony books on intelligence. Well, maybe this book ain't about intelligence, but it just don't tell me nothing about intelligence. Reads like an affirmative action complaint. In fact, there is an intelligence section in here, something that sounds like an intelligence community. It says, this is where I think it's intelligence in here. I'll share something with you. In fact, I got it all over here, and I'll show it straight to you. Oh, we're going to show it, Baba. One of them is brains, sex, and racism in the CIA and the escape. This is David Whitehead. And when Whitehead put this book out as the breakaway CIA agent, I brought him close enough to me to take him to New York. 3,000 people, standing room only. The boy sells and makes more than he ever made for black people in his life in one night. Thought being black was really a devastating thing. praying close enough to me to have the debate that I wanted with Brother Man who'll be here tomorrow. In the debate, I devastated him, showed him that he really wasn't who he thought he was. That's why I can't get him to come out with me. If I'm wrong, they'll win. But if I'm right, they're through. And this is what I call intelligence. Let me see if it's in this section. Nah, this part, but I'm gonna tell you what it says, because I think I got it egged anyway. It's an intelligence statement. I just tell you what the statement said. I got it memorized and say, you know, today I was being sworn in as an FBI agent. Something that most black people wish they could be. Today, Martin Luther King would be proud of me for having joined the agency that even though it was involved in his destruction, he would have been proud that I made it or something to that effect. And I done talked to Martin King, and that's a damn lie. You're stretching Martin shit real far. When you say he would want you to be an FBI, that'd be really fucked up. Ask Coretta then, before you say some shit like that. What do you base that shit on? Or you just saying shit? Because I catch you saying shit 2-3 times. Now we've introduced the possibility that you're subjective rather than objective. And that's when the shit'll start. We'll break for intermission. I know it's food and a lot of things around in the back. And I'll be down front. Don't ask me a lot of questions during the break because my throat is a little tired. I want to rearrange my stuff. I'm going to move on some of my information. Oh, but let me just tell you this too. There's a couple of those college videos up there. There's a tape up there, the conspiracy to say it's no conspiracy. There's tapes up there on the other side of Coakley. How did I get started? What's my history? In Atlanta, I spent 4.5 hours telling my life story because you need to know that. Where did the brother come from that stands like he's standing to say what he's saying? They would rather run from me than stand up to me. You need to know, because you may see yourself in there. It didn't take a whole lot. In fact, I don't have no car, I ain't got no house, I ain't got but a few clothes, got holes in my shoes. But this shit got much weight. And maybe we ought to invest in that which means much. And secondary-ize some of the things that mean lesser. But that's another story. That's only if you choose to. Anyway, I'll see you after the break.
For you, the mind state of liberation, coming from a long legacy of battle stars and freedom fighters. I acknowledge my duty to truth and justice as a Reality Speaks representative, and I am a humble servant of my community. Elders, may I have permission to speak? Okay, I want to start the second half off by apologizing to Brother Coakley for not introducing him. At the time, I had a lot on my mind, thinking about why the auditorium, why we didn't get a good turnout, thinking about Reality Speaks having to go, maybe having to go underground for a while. Because to put on an election like this takes a lot of money. And the crowd that we got here don't even take care of the mailing list. We sent out over 270 flyers, and ain't nobody here, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hurting to look into the crowd and get up and speak. And at the time, I wasn't even thinking about it. You know what I mean? I just told Brother Coakley to go ahead and roll on with his program. So I just wanted to start off with an apology. What Reality Speaks plans to do from here is probably take the information straight and directly out to the streets. Set up on corners, Joe Hill Park, stuff like that. Because truthfully, a lot of the brothers and sisters ain't going to come out and pay no money to come hear no lectures. You know what I'm saying? We done been out on subways, on corners, but they just ain't going to do it. So we're going to have to just take it directly to them. So I just wanted to stand up and apologize to Brother Coakley for that.
Yeah, peace. We also would like to thank everybody who did come out and faithfully support Reality Speaks, and even those who didn't make it today. We appreciate all types of support. The main thing what we want to do is the will of the Most High. And we want to do what the people need and what the people want. And so if we got to go underground and get the message out, then so be it. Because we not benefiting from this. It's for everybody. And so we would like to take some donations and ask you to help offset some of these expenses, if you will. Maybe we can pass around one of these boxes or something. Is it okay to use one of your boxes, brother?
Yeah, my box got a nice little crease in it. Right. And I would want to say is that the danger to promotion is that you come first. Many times I'm in the black community, and one thing I appreciate about reality speaks is that, all right, I hope there's something in that, but when you're in promotion, you throw down first. You throw down for the hall, you throw down for the flyers. You have to do a lot of things before people even show. So we can't let promoters be killed off, because in all these cities, the promoters are dwindling away as the now Intel Pro scares away the flock. You can't say the people don't need the info. So we got to make sure promoters don't get hurt. And it'll probably be that the donation will never cover all the hole, but I would hope you could do the best you could, check, cash, anything you could to help them offset their expenses. I would appreciate it.
And also, make sure, we have a series of tapes out there in the lobby that you could get for information, to further your education, and make sure that you use this information for the benefit of our people. Don't let it go to waste. Don't let no efforts of the lecturers that we bring to you, don't let their efforts be in vain. We owe it to the sacrifice that a lot of our people make to get us this information to do something positive with it. So we're gonna give the floor to Brother Coakley, and we'd like to thank the brother, and we still apologize.
I appreciate you, Baba.
Peace.
While I pick up the last paper, brother gonna set me up again.
Lady as well, cause they're all through the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule. And ADL as well, cause they all through the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule. And ADL as well, cause they all through the hell. Check it. The new order as far as you went with us ever since they made the money back. Things have been the same. We wasn't trying. Swimming some forsaken things and Indian bad. Now they using different names. Check it. The restoration of reserve plantation for a mixed donation. It's like population devastation. You see these places today planned back in 1776. Well, they were unknown your dicks. Never heard the Illuminati stole the ball. Ask somebody about your party, Democrat, Republican. Relation, let's go moving on. But I just thought I'd give you a little something. Get started on the day is newborn. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the flame. And ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the flame. And ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the flame. And ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the flame. And ADO as well, cause they all do the hell. But today I'm from sin. I'm living devil's back up. I got you a man. Tell me what's the first place. So when you face it, I'm boss like it used to be with your own right. Take the right now to the side. It's gonna die. Open up your third eye. Get high. Get you open like a black hole. Let that dwell. I'm over smell and say, damn, it's up for sale. You don't have it as a free thing. So here it is. I'd rather have the cheap food. Cause that's my peers. Open up your mouth black and get clear. All we need to do now. We know how here. I'ma see you through the next zone. Now there's only two cavemen in our house. Let them go. Obey by the brewery. Brand new day. Bad news for the boule. Radio as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule. And radio as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule. And radio as well, cause they all do the hell. It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule. And radio as well, cause they all do the hell. We went together to find symbolism that we can share with you. Try to expose these interconnections between now and boule. These interconnections are important because the concept of problem is somewhere.
But we believe we have the most substantial evidence. But we believe that our military apparatus is well prepared above the president's alone. We will begin to exert influence on him. We believe that the trade us and the trial of those things will commence. All right. The reason I played the song, and when I was just in Atlanta, we cut the trial of the oath takers, which is the part 2 to this, is that the youth who are hearing the information are trying to retranslate it back to their friends in the way their friends talk. He said, well, look, Brother Copeland said, I said, well, man. And they go, hey, man, it's a brand. He said, look, my little girl walks around the house going, hey, Daddy. I said, what? It's a brand new day. Bad news for the boy. She's 4. She can pick up, it's a brand new day. Bad news for the boule. And ADL as well. And her mother said, don't be saying hell. But the important thing is that how do you take the information and dramatize it? Not dramatize it, but dramatize it. Right, there we go. The dramatization of the information is the countering of the intelligence program. Another way you counter the intelligence program is that you explain to black people that information on the primary level is direct. Donald said, Sister Carol said, Brother Bill said, primary. Baltimore Sun said, secondary. Baltimore TV said, thirdary. Newsweek said, fourthary. So don't bring fourthary information in a direct relationship. You go direct. And if we keep direct as the primary focus, then we'll reprioritize the basis of black involvement. I appreciate Reality Speaks. We had a little discussion on the side, and brothers let me know how they felt, and I appreciated that. And I can understand what they felt about it. But Baba, we've even been in programs where after we was here and everybody been paid, the police come in and closed it down, even. And so as we get deeper into this game against the enemy, the consequences of perpetrating will be greater. But I would suggest in the long run that I stand for Reality Speaks as a trench warrior. The day someone comes to them out of a trench, they can turn them over to me, and I would do for them as if I was them, because everybody needs protection. That's right. People don't understand the role of a mafia. You need a mafia. We got a mafia. We got one. And when you got something real strong, you don't play with it. You don't jack it off in the public. Hey, guess what we did to who knows what. You do what you do, you let them declare what was done. So I say, hey man, I'm gonna cut your head off. So a guy wears a neck brace. So you cut the head off and the little head be bouncing around. Somebody cut me off. That's more preferable. So in the battle, we're all going to get to know him. Oh, there's some of it too. I need that stuff off that table there. Oh, shoot. I also need those tapes on the table. I forgot the Revolution 103 and Boule, some other stuff in that bag there. That's a whole nother thing. I don't always get to stand up here and protect myself financially, because I guess if I don't make no point, I ain't going to go nowhere. You can set it on the table for me, Brother Charles. I appreciate it. Yeah, let me have it there. Just set them up. Thank you. And so it may be that we'll disagree, and we should be able to sustain a relationship that can sustain disagreement, and that we could use disagreement to move ourselves forward and make ourselves brother. Y'all know this brother right here? This here guy right here, the cameraman? Now this my friend. He go to the lecture. He edit a tape. I put him on suspension because the tape is live in my system. And he said something on the tape he didn't want heard. But if he didn't say the shit, it what? Wouldn't have been heard. Thank you. So he should be holding my tape up. He should be holding what? No. Thank you. So he had to go on suspension. But this is our friend. There's no bound or bind between us. We ain't in no organization. In fact, as we were talking about the boule and the oath takers, the thing that comes after the oath takers that I'm working on now, Brother Charles called the law abiders. The law abiders ain't an oath taker. They just obey every damn thing. Pay the bills on time. They show up for work a half an hour early and shit. Make the nigga show up a minute before. Call him a minute man. Say, come to minute man again. You're only supposed to be there when you're getting paid. But they make it like if you ain't there early, you ain't showing you want to get ahead. So the law abiders be fucking shit up. So we're gonna start working, paying the bills on time and shit. So we're gonna start working on the law abiders. They stop at all the red lights, stop at the stop signs. White man, police say, you beating on the brother, say step back. They step way back. The law abiders, we have to work on making it unsafe to be there. And I'm telling you, we're putting deep pressure on the oath takers. And in the oath takers, there's two rules of law here. When you're a weaker man and you have a weak alliance, you need blind loyalty. One of the things I've showed to you all in the past on the oath takers tape is the Masonic ritual. They take you through, they put the blindfold on the person. They walk them around an altar. And then they shake them up. They say, will you reveal the secrets of a master mason? And his mentor says, my life, but not the secrets. Then die. And they reenact his death. Then they walk him around. They do it 3 times. But he's blindfolded. When you're on a Greek line, you're a neophyte. You do what? Exactly and only what you're told. Now, the oath takers have this problem. An oath taker never pledged to be righteous, which is why they appeal to blind loyalty. Because in a crunch, when shit get bad, they're going to ask you to do shit that's literally unbelievable. So they set you up with this blind thing because blindly you accept their leadership. In the book I used, The Other Side of Coakley, I talked deeply about the book. First time I ever took my little personal book and read it out into a lecture. A Light on the Path. In fact, I'm going to make a copy for my brother's Reality Speaks. Light on the Path. First time I ever read this into a lecture. Because brother stood at the end of a lecture. We was in Atlanta April 1st, 2nd. And he said, Bro Coakley, you up here talking all this shit about the oath takers. Look over there. It was an ex-police officer standing there. Last time I was there, he was a Morris Brown policeman, which one of the colleges. When I come back, he had been fired. They really was too black. So he said, there's an oath taker over there. The brother that had signed out for the room was an Omega. He said, if you against the oath takers, why are you standing with those men? I said, it's real simple, brother. Because they were oath takers before I met them. And what brother would I be if I held against them something for information that they didn't have? Now I'm asking something from a human that a human can't give, and that's perfection. So why would I not want to accept what a man does about what he learns in spite of the fact it might hurt what he is? That's profound. That's what we call deep penetration. So I go to University of West Virginia, the biggest school in West Virginia, Morgantown. The Sigmas brought me there. Cornell University, one of the top of the Eastern Elite. The Omegas brought me there, and the Alphas. Why would they do it if it ain't them? Because learning the knowledge was more important to them than holding me back. And they would rather share something that they felt had value, then to ostracize me and work against the information once they learned it to be true. These are deep penetrations. The Boule recently came to Maryland and tried to have a meeting with me. I did a speech in Atlanta called The Last Days of Martin King. It's a very powerful lecture. Probably one of the most influential I ever gave, especially since all this King thing then resurrected. Jesse's getting real jumpy. And the Boule said, look, Brother Coakley, we'd like you to work with us. We got a Boule underground. In every chapter, we got 4 or 5 members that are more like you than like us. Would you accept our invitation to come underground with the Boule? I said, you know, that lecture you gave down there in Atlanta on Martin King, as long as we've been around, we ain't never defended Martin King as well as you have. And he's our soldier. When Cosby died, Bill Cosby get killed, his son Enos get killed on the side of a road in a fancy car, Omega. Michael Jordan's daddy gets killed on the side of a road in a fancy car, Omega. How come the Omega men can't jump out and defend the life of their fallen brothers? Is the thing not that deep? So when in LA they can't find the killer, I announced I'm coming out and said, how much is the posse? I said $300,000 for the man or woman that can catch it. I got on the KJLH radio station on the Monday before the Thursday they arrested that man. And I announced to the people that all those who are unemployed should come out to the Good Life and register themselves to be a part of the posse to catch the murderer of Enos Cosby. And if you were hungry enough and you didn't have a job, you would become a hunter. A hunter. What do you do with the information once you learn it? You hunt it like an animal. That's right. Investigators. Schools don't produce investigators. When I was at the school, I started out, who want to be a hunter investigator? Nobody. By the time I finished, they all had their hands up. Because then they learned that if you were a hunter or an investigator, it didn't care what the issue was. You could be big for black people, because it's one thing black people got is perpetrators. In the book, Light on the Path, and I don't have none of this in overhead, just light on the path. It's a circle with a triangle in the inside. It says that the ultimate organizational structure, as opposed to an oath taker, it says, on the path, you will meet people of like character. And with them, you will form a bond that needs no utterance of mere words. So what does that suggest? That the ultimate bind or bond between brothers is not a ritual blindfolding. In fact, the real bind and bond, you can see it in their eyes. You can look in their eyes and they'll nod and you'll nod and you'll move on. And you'll know whenever the moment comes, they'll do what they're supposed to do. Because you done already made that bind and bond. And I feel that way about people in this room. And I know we link together, and I know that's the ultimate link. I take that link through a thunderstorm, through a tornado, through a hurricane. Another thing, sidebar, whites are anti-nature. So what are all the movies they run? Tornado, hurricane, volcano. Every movie is about the deathly awesome ugliness of nature, something white man can't control. I even watched Geraldo Rivera. He had one of them comet people. Yeah, what's the other? Yeah, Heaven's Gate. And if you see their logo, they look a lot like Brother Coakley logo. The Heaven's Gate look just like Brother Coakley eye. But that's a whole nother thing, because they might be running to something where we already at. That's a whole nother story. That's deep, Baba. But the bottom line is that Geraldo Rivera said to the Hellbot man, he said, how dare you believe in something greater than us? He said, do you know what you could cause? And that's the whole, I ain't into the moon thing and the Mars thing and all of that. But I also know the white man gonna play it and play it and play it until he control it. And that's all it means. Don't let the people see anything that's greater than that which is oppressing them. So that's why they go to the blind oath. And that's why this needs no utterance of mere words. And like I say, I stack this team up against anybody. That's the powerful side of responding to the enemy. There's so many things going on in reality right now that are going on. You all see the CIA drug issue. Is the CIA drug issue phony or is it real? Is it an intelligence gathering project? Here's my thesis. My thesis is that the CIA been selling drugs so long. Where does the CIA sell drugs? The Golden Triangle. Where's that at? The Golden Crescent. Where's that at? Afghanistan. The French Connection. Where was that at? France and Indonesia and all of that. And of course, we know about the Ollie North connection and everything. But the people who are fighting against them at first cut themselves off from everybody who is not quote unquote legitimate in the white world. In fact, at Howard, they got Gary Webb. They're going to all come and hear from the white boy on Tuesday. And they'll all be there. They'll promote it up big time. But there's some interesting things going on about that issue that's faking the shit out of everybody. The foundation to the CIA drug issue is what went on in Mena, Arkansas. Mena, Arkansas is where they trained the pilots who ran the flights that dropped the drugs and the money. Now, the guy they waiting on to do the investigation just completed an investigation in the Mena, Arkansas. What did he say he saw? That's right, Brother Charles. He said, I didn't see a damn thing. Now, nobody protested that. In fact, they acted like they didn't even hear it. That's right. And what's so funny is, if you don't force them to admit what they did in Mena, you got nowhere to go. On the question of CIA drugs, if you knock out the pilots. So in November, while everybody was getting all woofed up, the CIA Inspector General Hitz released this report. This is an intelligence project. It said the contract work had been done in Mena on aviation equipment owned by the CIA, and a 2-week training activity once had been conducted there. How you gonna train a pilot in 2 weeks, don't even speak English? He said there's no illegality, no evidence had been found that the CIA had contact with any individuals or businesses based at or operating through the airport in Mena, Arkansas, including money laundering, narcotics trafficking, or arms smuggling. He said, well, he had not attempted to investigate these charges specifically, and that his report was, quote, based almost exclusively on information in CIA files or provided by current or former CIA employees. So he didn't really investigate it specifically, but he found nothing going on. Got it? Okay. But the scary thing was when they called Lisa Mitchell, who's probably one of the more open hosts, and asked her, has she heard of this? She said, I've never heard of this. Dick Gregory don't talk about this. Maxine Waters don't talk about this. But the other thing you waiting on ain't gonna never happen if you don't back up this. This was in November. What month is this? When did they say they was gonna wait? How long was they gonna wait till? July 4th. Then what they gonna do? They was gonna announce a boycott of Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? We've been trying to get them to do that for years. Y'all know that. And then we supposed to believe they own the CIA. Now, I love Maxine Waters, but you gotta ask her about this. There is the largest grant ever been given in the history of FEMA to a community, Maxine Waters community. $3,530,000 $130,421 to make a Watts Community Center that was burned down during the rebellion around Rodney King's Stacey Coons trial. What's key, Bob, is they even called it African American Unity Day. How you gonna unify with FEMA? And is FEMA the CIA? Let's go back to Ollie North. Who was he working for? FEMA. Thank you, Bob. Hold it. That wasn't Donald, was it? Give me another cameraman. Yeah. Strike two. Second punchline giver by the Donald in-house man. Then gave the punchline twice. And strike two if y'all hear him whisper or some shit. Call him out, because he's going to the shower or some shit. We have to have the DJ man gonna have to take the camera or something. Because Donald's going to the rack in principle. All right. Add up the numbers. I was in Atlanta and I showed that for a second. Brother hollered out, Steve, add up the sum of the numbers. Who's that? Thank you, brother. And 9 is the code. 9 is the boule. 9 is the whole thing. 9 is the code. Why are you gonna cut a check so high? That's an odd check. Look at Danny Bakewell. Now, this was April 29th. I was in LA then, and I pissed my ass off on this. This is 1996. 5/2/96, the LA Herald Dispatch's community paper in LA. State Senator Teresa Hughes, who hosted the CIA there. Danny Bakewell, all other little people in the community groups, but that's Sister's congressional district. The question becomes, how long was Gary Webb working on the story? Thank you. So when the CIA know it's coming, what do? Start paying out, do damage control. It's what you call limited fallout. It's what Farrakhan did when he thought that the Malcolm X movie was going to expose him. How? He said, I'm sweating into the mic and shot my ass. He said, I wasn't involved in killing them, but I did help set the climate that made it possible. That's what you call limited fallout. It's like before someone reveals you on everything, you quickly tell half the thing and hope they go away. It's an intelligence trait. We need to deal with intelligence terms. Limited fallout. CIA is going to make a limited fallout. They're going to every city to see what black people are going to do about the CIA drug thing. You know what black people didn't do about the CIA drug thing? You know what the one thing was they didn't do? Hold their own hearing and go get their own facts and make their own conclusions. Fuck the hunky. In other words, why do we wait for them to tell us something that we already know? Well, yes, the one that what? Hassenfuss. Yeah, I saw him in Milwaukee sitting on a park bench. It looks like he's a street bum. The whites won't give him no work. No, he's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin right now. Eugene Hassenfuss was the white man that fell out of the plane, Barry Seal's plane, who was running the training with Terry Reed. It's in his book Compromise, was running the training of the drugs in Mena, Arkansas. Go ahead, Bob. This right there. Right. And Terry Reed got accused of all of that and then found not guilty, made a fugitive. Then he files against the CIA, FBI, Bill Clinton. In fact, there's a black guy named Robert Nash. I started moving on Robert Nash. Robert Nash is chief of personnel in the White House. Black man. He was the head of the Economic Development Association for Arkansas, and he supervised the relationship between the drug sellers, they dropped the drugs, dropped the money on low-flying airplanes. The CIA drug tape clarify those things for you, but it's much more than the issue then these Negroes are sharing with each other. You see, Blandone and Manassas and Ricky Ross is peons in the thing. They nobodies. Many people know more about this than they tell them. That's why we put pressure on Tyrone Powers. Why don't your book say nothing about Ricky Ross? Because I read your book. This is how we got to start inferring things. I need you, Bob. I need to set a tape off. It says, look, this is in a tape called Transgressions and Confessions. I talk about Brother Hamza and I talk about Tyrone Powers. January 7th, 97. I know it's about 2 of them in there. It says Coakley and Tyrone Powers. And during Kwanzaa, Tyrone Powers, myself, Dick Gregory, Sister Ava Muhammad, Tony Martin, who published this book, were all speaking at a Kwanzaa event in the Mosque number 19 in Springfield, Massachusetts during the Kwanzaa period. And I appealed to Tony Martin. That I didn't like the credibility that he gave the book because the book did not withstand the test of revelation. You see, I know some white people who've been in, white or black, who've told more than I see in the book. Saying, this guy told more, he's CIA man. CIA and Call of Intelligence had told more. Certain standards we expect if you're really breaking away. When I questioned David Whitehead, I said, to prove you're a black man now, victimized by the white CIA, tell us where the CIA secret headquarters is in Washington, D.C. And you know what he said? He said, I can't do that because I maintain a secrecy agreement with the CIA as a former employee. I said, but didn't they try to kill you? Yes. Didn't they chase you down the street? Yes. Ain't they dog-ass white supremacists? Yes. I said, but you still keep a secret with them. And you got to ask Tyrone Powers the same thing. If he won't reveal you something that breaks his bind or bond to them, he is still them. I don't want you ever to trip over and lose sight of the reality of the situation. Maybe tomorrow we'll be here to test the question. Maybe we won't. There you go. One thing in the early warning business, you don't early warn your own business. Okay. And we're a master of the game now. So we put a little pressure on Tony Martin. Tony Martin said, you know, it's a funny thing. Since I done published this Eyes on the Prize, 10 black people from CIA, FBI, DEA, all of them want these revelation books to me. He said, I can't take it. He said, but I'm glad you're covering my back on this because maybe it ain't right.
Accessible has come out for signings whenever Ass has been speaking. Chris Carson, the country, we have him and can declare him as our own here in the Maryland, Washington metropolitan area. But in order to get the book, I want to let the family know that Tyrone has made sure that his first work you did within and had published within our community, and that's also very important to note that you went to a black publisher.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Majority Press is a publisher, and it was my editor and I, it was an excellent conversation. She understood what I was saying in the book, even pulled things out of me that she didn't think I was saying that I needed to say. We talked on the phone almost to 2 and 3 in the morning sometimes. And we also put the book, we wanted to make the book very affordable simply because we wanted the message to get out more so than any profit. This is not a very profitable endeavor for me. In fact, it's a loss so far. But it doesn't matter because the information is so important at a time that our young people and our people in general are facing the kind of situations that we're facing.
I want to let folks know how you can get the books. You can send directly, make checks payable to Tyrone Powers, Post Office Box 11311. That's P.O. Box 11311 in Baltimore, Maryland, and the zip code is 21239. Again, checks payable directly to Tyrone Powers. He is author of Eyes to My Soul, Arise or Decline of a Black FBI Agent. It's really important, family, that we have, that we consider and have had Tyrone available to us. The national community is seeking this brother. He is sought after across this country, and we've had access to Tyrone. He's continued to make himself available on the number of issues that are facing our communities. When we look at what's going on with the CIA, of the government, and the involvement in drug trafficking, to have someone who who was an FBI agent, and not just any old FBI agent. You include in your book the letters of commendation that you received. You served and worked on cases, drug cases as well, and you even talk about the fact that, we've talked about that there are investigations where you were told, hey, this investigation ends, and it comes from the top.
Let me give you a good example. During the time I was in Cincinnati working undercover drug cases, Freeway Rick Ross came to Cincinnati, and he stayed with an elderly gentleman in the Lincoln Heights area, the gentleman who was under investigation up there for some other crimes and also for contributing to the delinquency of minors. He was misusing young black girls. Ricky Ross stayed with him as a good cover because this gentleman was up in age, 70-some, almost 80 years old. And he began to set up his operation there in the Cincinnati area. Me and another black undercover agent tried to purchase from Ricky Ross. We could never do it. He would have someone else come out and meet us to purchase from us.
Okay.
But we had an open case on Ricky Ross. Ricky Ross was arrested by the local police there and then released. We don't know the circumstances of that. We were pushed out of there, and that wasn't explained to us why he was released after he was arrested there. After some time, they had this major roundup of what they considered the Ricky Ross drug game right there in the Cincinnati area. Nowhere in the indictment the information was Ricky Ross' name, and we were told at a certain time that he had left the area and that they were shutting down the case. Come to find out at a later date and time, the agent who worked with me is still in that area, and that Ricky Ross left for a day or two but came back in the area. But by that time, our case had been completely shut down.
Wow.
And we had been gotten out of it. We had been removed from the particular case and put onto some other minor, extremely insignificant cases. And I've said before, Lisa, that there's certainly no war on drugs whatsoever. And I am glad to be here with the WL.
So now the question becomes, if he was trying to arrest Ricky Ross and couldn't, how many other people did he try to do something and couldn't? And why ain't that in the book? That's the shit that should be in the book. We shouldn't have to flush that off your back. Well, the book is out now. I can accept that. And 87, right, it was 10 years ago. But the bottom line of it is that if this is revelation, then there should be some revealing things. And a white man spoke against Mandela. Okay, they all do that. Called somebody a nigger, yeah. They cheered when Harold Washington died. I was there. Of course they did. They've been doing that since Columbus. Yeah. Give me some news. Give me some of that brand new day. So there are other things that would help you better measure the validity of the situation. And I guess we'll hold until the gopher comes out the hole. All right, Baba, you can turn that off. Let's go on back on over here. I gotta move quickly because I see we're getting near 6 o'clock. I just want you to look back at that FEMA logo even. In fact, oddly enough, if you look at it carefully, it looks like it's a crescent around the circle with the pyramid in it. Huh? Yeah, on the left. Huh? Is that Donald? Did Donald say something? He should say, yeah. He's out of there. Say, get him out of there. Okay, I'm not a man of my word. But it's important to know what someone stands for. And you can't say, the bottom line is, Ollie North worked for FEMA. That's where he had the off-the-shelf, standalone operation. Casey didn't know, Reagan supposedly didn't know, but whether they did or whether they didn't, he did it all through FEMA. So can you take money from FEMA and be against the CIA? Ain't no way. In fact, there was I think it's on Emerge. See, I watch how Emerge do it because Emerge don't say nothing. But see, like they did a big issue on CIA drugs, so they did this Dick Gregory story. You see all that crack bottle, you see the CIA, but no investigative reporting. Just about Dick Gregory's life and how he made $362,063. But the bottom line of it is, so then I think they got Maxine Waters on the cover now. And I think it says, and she fights the good fight. And you know what? That's a phrase they use for losers. Only losers fight a good fight. For winners won. And that's the end of that. So watch carefully. As Joe Madison is on in the morning, Ollie North is on at night on the same station. You can't be the same people. You can't get financed by the same monkeys and really be the real opposition. I mean, I hate to want to make you think about this in a small sort of way, but if reality was to speak, you see right through these things and know their contradictions. They couldn't possibly be true. Not one community tribunal on the CIA drugs. I told them, go out there and talk to the youth. You'll learn the answers. They did the business. They know the answers. That's kidding. Nobody want to know about that. Nah, we ain't got time. Let me go on and make you. I want you to see what it is. This is the first intelligence project I ever broke up. White boy came to me named Milt Cohen. White boy right up there. He saw me over at the NAACP. In fact, was it 78? I won the. In 78, I think it was when I won that NAACP award and stuff at the Freedom Fund dinner. And this guy, Milt Cohen, approached me and he said, I think you might be interested in a job. You're pretty well known in the black community, and we need someone who's known in the black community to do a project. So what is it? He said, give me the paperwork. So he gives me this paperwork, and it's the cover sheet from a grant from the United Way. And I have to thank Brother Donald, because Brother Donald, as a brother in Baltimore, did what I asked the people to do in all the cities, which was to go to the United Way and pull the paperwork. You're going to find the intelligence community right in social service. What does it say they were going to do? And I know you can barely see this because the pages are decaying. It says the Executive Committee and Board of Directors of the United Way of Metropolitan Chicago has approved a special grant for the amount of $18,000 to the Jewish Council on Urban Affairs for the period of 79 July to June 80. The grant will be used to hire a staff person, one person, that will have the primary responsibility for a project that has as its goal, my stomach is empty, has as its goal the establishment of a communications network which can monitor developing racial tension in our city, in our communities, and take advanced intervention where necessary. To monitor racial tension is the early warning apparatus. COINTELPRO is the advanced intervention when necessary. Hey, this Malcolm's getting too big. He's going to fuck up this United Nations thing we got going. We're too weak right now in 63 and 64 to handle this pressure he's putting on us. You better kill him and kill all his buddies who are working on this. In fact, I think the Judas Factor did the best at bringing out all the things Malcolm was really involved in. So you can see why his probability scale was up so high. And since Elijah Muhammad, in a way, pledged not to work on whites in a way, he could be more trusted. And it doesn't mean that he's a white booty biter. See, if you say I'm going to build something on my own, I ain't going to mess with your thing, you don't mess with my thing, nothing stops injustice. Now, there's a tape up here, and I know nobody bought it, but you got to pick up on this in the intelligence community. I discussed that sunshine thing with you earlier. There's a tape up there called Homosexuality versus Promiscuity. Gay Edgar Hoover was a homosexual. The mafia had information on him that prohibited him from even acknowledging that it was a mafia. He was sleeping with that little white Jewish attorney, Roy Cohn, and Meyer Lansky, and all the other big whites had the goods on it. And so they would take Hoover up to New York, put him on the Amtrak, send Hoover up to...
Now I got to check Coakley when he talked about down with Elijah Muhammad. He said, if Elijah Muhammad work on his thing and the white man work on his thing, nothing stops injustice. Yes, it do. You help Elijah work on his thing and leave the white man's thing alone. Get out the white man's system, and you ain't got to worry about CIA and all like that. Help Elijah build his system up, and you'll be a scout for Elijah. You see, since you know all about that kind of stuff, you be the minister of communication. But by that time, when he, Coakley used to be a minister in the nation, he says that on his tape. By that time, Farrakhan and Wallace had took it over. But if he would have been there in it when Elijah was there, but he didn't have the same ambition back then. He started gathering these kind of ambitions, but he's still my boy though, because we need brothers like him. That's true. But don't try to get with those politicians. Build your own thing. All you got to do is stop working on your own stuff. First thing you got to do is get off the grid. Get off. They got solar panels. They got generators. We don't make none of that. We got to learn how to make that kind of stuff. That's why I'm trying to get some brothers to see that I know. It's hard for them to see it, though. They can't do it without the white man. But I'm going to get back to Coakley. I just want you to know that the CIA has infiltrated every organization it is. That's why we ain't doing nothing now. More than half of the black population work for the government.
New York, give him the sweet, get him they said he liked blonde-haired, 21-year-old built white men whom he put on rubber gloves. They had to put on rubber gloves so they could fondle him. Homosexuality. But then, doesn't that make more sense why he's all up in the Martin King sex life? What is the role that one's deviancy plays in intelligence? If someone has your weakness at their hand, and that's where you have to learn how to keep your appetites under control. You'll be victimized by the intelligence community if your Jones can't sit in time out, as we have to tell a little one. So Martin King, who was living a lie with his wife, and that's not any of my business, but it had something to do with making him just a mortal man to the whites. So whites said, look, this nigga ain't God, he ain't the Messiah, kick his ass. And they went and killed him. Remember in the Spike Lee movie, the FBI boys are sitting in the room, he says, boy, this guy would make Martin King look like a saint. Talking about Malcolm. Malcolm wasn't promiscuous or homosexual, but they still killed him. It was probability scale, not deviancy. Jesse Jackson was as promiscuous as Martin King. They never used it against him in the public because he's in on the program for social control. Malcolm X is in a fight over Elijah Muhammad. Over what? Promiscuity. He wants a woman. Elijah tells him she ain't available, but he had impregnated her. Promiscuity.
I gotta check my boy again. Well, nobody in Elijah's bedroom, so they don't know nothing. They going by rumors. They act like they was in the bedroom with him. You know, they're going by rumors, y'all. But I still dig you. I dig you, Coakley. Carry on.
So when you look back in history, how people got control over other people had something to do with their appetites. And so that's a very valuable take, homosexuality versus promiscuity. Why? We have to tell this to the children so that they don't leave Morehouse on their way somewhere and somebody put a woman on them and boom, they knock them off. On the January 7th tape, after I leave Springfield, Massachusetts, I'm down at the pool on the floor putting my lecture together, these transparencies. 2 white women down there in the exercise room. Glass. The pool is all glass. The hotel, the pool is as big as the center. The weight room is like up here on the stage, and I'm down at the other end of the pool on the ground, laying out my transparencies. The white women look over at me, take their shirt off, take their panties off, and stand butt naked in the hotel, in the pool, with glass windows on all sides, and jump in the pool and swim all the way down to where I'm sitting there putting these little stupid transparencies together, waiting for the next hour to go to mosque number 19. The white women jump up to the edge of the pool, like the edge of the stage, and put her breasts on the top of the stage and look at me. And just look at me proudly, like, ain't this something? And I said, don't put no water on my shit. That water dripping up on my shit, get that back. So then her girlfriend comes from up under the water, just gets up and giggles and shit, just rubs her breast. They swim to the other side, they swim back. Little kids are in the game room. The game room's right here, all glass. Little kids in there playing all these little games and stuff. They didn't care. I don't know what was up, but if I was a weak brother, I'd been had right there. If it had been just that, and I be telling these brothers about going to Pinky Land. They got to stay out of Pinky Land. Pinky Land is costing a lot of people more than they can give. You know what Pinky Lee sleeping with them white women. Pinky Land, as I walk with you down that lonely place, hand in hand with to Pinky Land with you. Yes, I do. Yeah, you know the cut. That guy McKinney, the black man, head of the military, getting ready to investigate the damn thing. But here come the white woman, Pinky Land. OJ got a Pinky Land problem. And I ain't even gonna go there, but Pinky Land gonna catch Cuba Gooding. Yeah. I know that, but eventually something's gonna happen. And let me tell you something else that's deep. Huh? Yeah, they tried to get Tiger too. Oprah kept calling him All America's man. Yes, they said it 6 times to be exact. This is All America's man. Trying to put him in a check, setting him up for Pinky Land.
Now, you know, he predicted that. You know, because right after he predicted all that, Cuba Gooding Jr., he just got into some trouble in a court case not too long ago, a couple of years back, I think it was. And you know Tiger Woods, when he got in Pinky Land, he threw his game all off. He ain't been the same since.
Even though she talked about how proud Stedman was to see him say, and for all the black golfers who came before me. But you can see that the hunky's gonna knock his plane out the sky. He win one more of them tournaments. Yeah. See, his problem ain't gonna be golf. His problem is gonna be when reality speaks. Tiger, this was never about talent. This is about control. You think this is about good golf? There was many niggas golf better than you. We killed them off. Ron Brown was the smoothest nigga I ever met. I mean, he really could have been president if the nigga was smooth. Too smooth. Too smooth. Intelligence Project. So it told that this person, that the United Way anticipated a series of meetings with individual leaders of the city's major human relations, civil rights, and religious groups, as well as community meetings and a citywide meeting of this project. See, they took the city, they broke it up into 4 squares. They said the first 3 months, set up a meeting there. Next 3 months there. No, they broke it up into 4, but it was every 2 months, so that in the last quarter they had the citywide meeting. But the key thing was that the community leader didn't know what he was being interviewed for. So they would jack him up and ask him a series of questions. This is what they would ask him. Said one method of identifying specific problems between racial groups in a specific area is to meet individually with leaders in that community. Meetings with individual leaders. See, if you're a leader, you ain't no individual. Individual is individual only. Leader means head of something. So what do? You break them down, separate them, promise them something that the followers can't give them. Maybe you can get a hotel with Brockman. While I'm trying to knock Brockman's ass off, because Brockman bought the ADL. He put up $40 million to set up campus-based finds, the Hillel House. ADL and Hillel created campus crisis management terms made up of professionals from ADL, Hillel, and the academic world to visit troubled campus on short notice. What does that mean when Copley come, when Collin come? So while I'm trying to kill him, someone else trying to get with him. Something's wrong here. Are they with Brockman because he's a good white man? He giving up some money. Only. So they asked the community leader, and I know we're getting close to 6. I need to hear from Reality Speaks about this time question, because I see yeah, y'all got to talk to me back there. Somebody got to find Jabari, or somebody got to talk to me about this time thing. Just come on down and whisper in my ear. It says that the intergroup is attempting to bring together diverse groups to see beyond their attitudinal differences and work together at bringing about changes that each group is concerned with. How you gonna have whites and blacks mutually agreeing to something? In order to understand the overriding concerns of an organization, the project director engages the community leader in a discussion on urban issues. Hey, where's that Coin and Telpro stuff at? All right. And it engages the community leader in a discussion. When you're engaged in a discussion, what does that mean? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hey, brother man, how you doing? Very good. All right, man. How's it going? Man, you know, your organization's really heavy, man. Hey, look here. Your organization, the Greater Baltimore Committee. What's the boundaries?
County line on the north side, city line on the east side, and west side.
What are some of the ways in which you've involved yourself in some of the issues in your neighborhood?
Set up projects and coalitions and work.
Good. Interracial tensions?
Yes, all over the place.
Oh, that's very interesting. What position did you take? Were you for the blacks or against the blacks?
I'm black.
Ooh. Okay. I'm from the United Way.
How you asking my brother?
I'm the hands. I'm the good hands people.
So you gotta ask.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Okay. What contact have you had with other community groups over this tension you're feeling? And who are those groups? Who are they leaders? No, I want you to name. I mean, this is one time they really want some names. Name me their name.
You come up to meet with us.
Oh, good.
Bring some information about what you're doing.
Good. You know, because every time I go to a meeting, I have to fill out a meeting attendance form. I have to tell how many people are there, what time the meeting started, what time it was over. I have to tell what are the things that were discussed. I have to prioritize the things that were discussed, and I have to tell what they're going to do for the next meeting comes up. I mean, I'm really glad to meet with you. At the end of the year, we're going to have a big meeting. Would you come? We're going to give away free breakfast and dinner. Oh, I'm with the United Way. I appreciate the role playing, but you can see that the person is supposed to engage a person in a discussion and really frisk them down. And if they say something that would hit the monitoring, developing tension side. Now, I went and found a black guy who was doing this. And I told a sister to tell him to meet me one day under Chicago City Hall. There's a restaurant under there between the county and the City Hall. And that day at the restaurant, I said, look, bro, man, I think you involved in something that ain't no good for black people. In fact, I think you a spy. You in this intergroup project. He was working for one of the organizations. He said, no, I'm not a spy. He said, but I tell you what, to prove to you that I'm not, I'm going to go get you the information. So that's when they came back with the names and stuff. The Intergroup Communications Project. And of course, on the other list were the Operation Push, as the Urban League, the NAACP was on here, the U.S. Justice Department Community Relations Service, the Chicago Human Relations Service, the ADL, American Jewish Committee, American Jewish Congress, ACLU, and on down the line, there was 25 organizations who were only being asked that everywhere you go, tell us what you hear. They don't think they're spying. I mean, if you're at the Urban League and you leave the office for a day, you have to fill out a meeting attendance form. You don't think that's spying, but that's all it is. And I don't think people understand spying well enough. And I know Brother Donald went out and got up in the Able Foundation and all of the Greater Baltimore Committee. And in fact, Kurt Smoke put out a booklet. I was up there one day and a sister was trying to put that promiscuity on me. I was in a house, and I looked up under a TV, and it said CIA training film. And some of you all remember my earlier days on the intelligence community and how we get 400 people at the School of B on a weekday, jammed up in there, and I'm running the CIA film, but I got the film up in the sister's house, who was working for the Baltimore Police Department. And I got the film from her. It was a film that was being sent to NOBLE, the National Organization of Black something, a law enforcement officer, something like that. And that film was really deep. It was very deep. And soon we're going to have this symposium on intelligence, and we're going to show all of the intelligence stuff that we have to the community. But interestingly enough, the sister who ran it the second time took over for a white girl who ran it the first time. Harold Washington had this thing where he had a little Jewish side that he worked with. So he took the white woman who did this and put him as the city of Chicago's community relations person. First thing I did when I had the chance was went down there with the engineer and opened up her office late one night, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and went into them files, and there I found the profiles of all the key niggas in Chicago. Even though Harold Washington was the good mayor, he had compromised intelligence and gave it to other people. Your police is your intelligence. What kind of intelligence is Kurt Smoke getting? And Marion Barry with white police chiefs. How come whites can have whites and blacks gotta have whites? Yeah, then he said he got one highest ranking black's asses on the line. He had only been one. And he ain't even the man, he the highest man, and he ain't even the man. I'm confused. But I wanted you to see what it looked like. So these groups would go out every month and they do some intergroup communications. So every city I went to, I asked them to go to United Way and pull out their annual yearbook or their grant specification, which has got everybody's grant in there, and look who's getting the money. You'll never know why they act the way they act till you see what they got. Excuse me. And that's very important to us to know that you could find the intelligence community, but it ain't gonna look like it's the one that comes up to you and says, you know, man, I wouldn't even go to no Coakley lecture. Oh, you mean he's coming up here tomorrow? You would underestimate the one that slides up on you and starts asking or saying things to you that you couldn't think could possibly be related to what's going on. But that's how it works. In fact, I think Tyrone Power said it best. It's one of the reasons why I really don't want to let him get too far away scot-free without being frisked. Was he says in his book something that I take to heart. Hey, no nigga gonna tell me this and I don't accept it. He said one thing, he said learning can take place anywhere, anytime, as long as one is prepared and willing to learn. My absorption in the undercover work is my absorption in the undercover work, drug work taught me lessons for life in general. I learned that it was not always an advantage to be candid. There was a measurable benefit to the art of deception. Without deception, you cannot carry out strategy. Without strategy, you cannot control the opponent. Well, this wasn't for against the FBI. This was for the FBI. And then that's funny, I saw him and them arguing about who was Uncle Tom's and all of that. I was really intrigued. I ain't even gonna go there right now because I ain't gonna be the early warning. And I may be here tomorrow night. What time is the program tomorrow? 2 to 6? How many of y'all gonna be here tomorrow? All right, well, it's gonna be a whole nother crowd gonna be here. Tyrone Powers be here, and a lot of people be coming out. So it'll be interesting to see, and I may be here. You might not want to miss that. Then again, I might not. The other thing I was trying to tell you about intelligence that needs more investigation is this, and I only had 10 more minutes, and I think I'm at about 8 minutes now. And y'all know me, I go for 8 weeks. It ain't gonna change the payroll. But you might want to find this book right here, Criminal Intelligence Analysis. In fact, I got a tape down there called How the Intelligence Community Monitors Networks and Groups, and it deals with the formats that I found in this book. I paid $92 for this book because down at Georgetown, where they teach the School of Foreign Service and Intelligence, or John Hopkins Center for Advanced Studies on Intelligence, you need to go into those bookstores and find those books that don't go into the public, but they're there to teach those students how to be good spies. You need to read into there and find things that are of great importance. And so it teaches you different things that they do, teaches you how they monitor phone calls. I thought that was heavy. It made a point about who you call, charting or mapping a network, or two distinct. I ain't gonna read it all because it can go on. It has you compelled to make a matrix, a layout of or breakdown of relationships. How possibly could this or that happen? It's based upon a format or a formula. And they even had ways in there about how you monitor a speech. Say you're going to monitor Copeland speech, so you do discourse analysis. Whereas both phonographic and syntactical analysis can help clarify ambiguous micro-level sounds and references, discourse analysis approaches the tape conversation from a more holistic macro perspective. These are several types of disclosure analysis or sub-analysis, those which have proven more useful in analyzing tape conversations used as evidence. Criminal activities such as topic analysis, response analysis, topic flow analysis, language function analysis, and contrastive analysis. In topic analysis, how many times do you mention the same thing? Because they figure the more times you mention it, the more value you give it. Mark Thompson, Tyrone Powers, Kathy Hughes. They measure how many times you bring a subject up. What do? Topic recycling is another clue to the speaker's intentions. What do we know? Intentions plus equal. So you use the speech to measure intention. It should be clear that no linguistic analysis can determine beyond doubt what a person's intentions are. The best that can be done is to find clues to such intentions that are situated in tape-recorded speeches. You don't have to come to a Coakley lecture to expound it. I'll sell you the tape. $12, Reality Speaks gonna have this video available. So you don't have to worry about that. Telephone analysis. How do they analyze? Now, this ain't in Coin and Telpro, so you got to excuse me for not getting caught in the bind or the bond. But I want you to understand the width of it. Collect the records to be analyzed, define the scope of calls, determine the frequency of calls by date and day of the week, determine the frequency of calls to specific numbers, determine the length of time spent on calls, develop a primary listing of numbers called by frequency, analyze frequency call numbers for patterns. Analyze calls by time of day. They said, if you call someone, monitor who they call after you call them. How they lay 2 and 3 layers deep beyond the surface of something. You just need to be aware of that and how scientifically they come down to try to figure those things out. Last thing, they have a whole way of breaking down whether you're a network, a partial network, a field, or a set, a bounded social network, an action set, groups in theory, your maps, your link, your points, your distancy, your cluster or click, your connectivity, your path length, your position, the isolation, centrality, and a matrix, a way of showing it all on a graph. If Tyrone Powers was the man, he'd come with the format. That's how you know the difference. I ain't gonna get in all of that now. He can be a very valuable guy. But you just can't let anybody in the black community without patting them down. And I'll throw my hands up, you can pat me too. I stand to be patted. But you need to know the density of the intelligence community. And then they can come how you relate to people, how you connect. One network connects with this and that. Say Reality Speaks might be, Reality Speaks might be 1. Coakley might be 1, Reality Speaks might be 2, but I can't get to 3, 4, and 5 unless 2 gets me there. So you can see the value of 1 could be the principal, could be isolated. They have a thing in there where they say you can isolate a principal perpetrator if you keep the jailers or the connectors away from them. In other words, don't let them connect to other people. So tonight I was supposed to announce to you about the next lecture on intelligence, but I can't do that. But I just wanted you to know in format the density of the intelligence community and how those things impact us and why we need a sophisticated symposium and a workshop, whatever you want to call it, to really begin to get serious about dealing with an enemy. It cost me a lot of things. May 1st is my anniversary. May 1st of '88 was the day the whites threw me into the public. That's the Illuminati birthday. And notice how they took and put topic analysis right into the article, knocking me out. Excerpts from lectures by Coakley. What did they do to College? They put topic analysis on that no good cracker Pope. And you notice they asked the minister on Fox about the AIDS and Jewish doctor statement. Then I asked on your local Fox, they asked him about, didn't Minister Steve Coakley of Chicago say that the AIDS epidemic was a result of Jewish doctors? That was only in the Baltimore station because I got a call from the Baltimore Fox that the local station was doing a show, and they put it on, I think, Minister Aleem, the local minister here, something that I said, but I had become a minister of the Nation of Islam. And they run down the dialogue on the speeches at various times to put various things into the public. I appreciate you all coming out. Time is up. I appreciate you all coming out. I'll close with this last thing right here. This is from that CIA handbook that they was passing out. And it says this. In June 23rd of '82, Reagan signs Public Law 97-200, the Intelligence Identities Protection Act of '82, imposing criminal penalties on those who reveal the names of covert intelligence personnel. So what can the CIA Inspector General do without breaking the law? Nothing. So ain't no need to waiting on him to say what he's gonna say, because he said say it. And then look at this. October 15th, '84, Reagan signs the Central Intelligence Information Act of '84, which exempts the agency from search and review requirements of the Freedom of Information Act with respect to operational and other sensitive files which cannot be released because of operational or security interests. You know why they can't tell about me and the rest of the stuff? Because it's still going on. one. It's a live project. That's it. I think reality speaks for host to me. I hope you come out and support them tomorrow. For Tyrone Power's speech, hope you come out and support them, and I'm sure they'd appreciate your support.
Let's do it. I got the power, supreme. Allahu Akbar, supreme. I got the power, supreme. Black power, love supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Power supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Love supreme. Supreme. Unity is the key.
The mother plane. The following statement was made by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And his name.
We're talking about the mother plane. It's hard for you to see it. This book here. So if you abetting and aiding and abetting the enemy of Allah or God or Jehovah, this mothership is coming to get America. We're going to see how much you love your enemy. I was talking to a sister the other day, and her son seen the mothership, not the little shuttlecraft, but the mothership. It's been a long video. But I got Master Farad. I know it. On my side. And I recognize spies and informants when I see them. I don't trust nobody. They underestimate me though. When I used to play cards, when I used to play poker, people used to try to read me. And they always read me wrong. They always underestimate. But my father told me never to underestimate anyone. At the same time, never overestimate them. Because people could be capable of anything. Especially when they're in fear of their life. Or fear of somebody else's life. Sometimes they develop superhuman strength. You never know. But the enemy got us surrounded. He's all up in the churches. And they look like us. They look like black people. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught by Allah in the person of Master Farah Muhammad. Very few believe that. But I do. Because I was taught by Supreme Minister John Muhammad, and he was with Master Farah Muhammad also, and his brother. So we're going to play this for you, white man. You've been seeing them, but you don't want the people to know that you know that it's Master Farah Muhammad. You ain't going to say that. That's why they're coming up with little green men and, but you know it's black people up there in the mothership. You know that.
To declare war and opposition against God, Allah. It is foolish to think that you have the power and the skill to block God's plan. It is foolish. Today, America's government knowledge of what she sees and what she hears of the truth. As God, Allah, has said to me, and I have taught it to you, that there is a plane in the sky above America made like a wheel, which is the fulfillment of the prophecy of Ezekiel 10th chapter, 1st verse, that he saw it in a vision, that it rose up from the earth so high that it looked dreadful, and that there was nothing above it except the starry canopy. Today, that plane is in the air, and the scientists and the astronomers of America have seen it here. Mr. Cowell, an ex-general of the United States Armed Forces of America, bears me witness that it is up there, and have dotted around America's planes in the sky, her in America. He wrote a book on it and condemns America for keeping it a secret. But the government wants to make it all a lie, that there is nothing like this going on, that there is no truth to no flying saucers. Maybe there is no truth to no natural flying saucer, but there is plenty of truth to circular planes. Planes made like a wheel up in the sky. There's plenty of truth to that, and the scientists and astronomers bear me witness here in America that it's up there. The mother plane was shown to me now 30 years ago by God himself, Master Fard Muhammad. I have seen this plane and have sketched it many times. As Almighty God, Allah, sketched it to me, I followed the sketching of his. Today, you would like to dismiss it as a lie, but those who peep through the glass, the telescope, and see this plane do not consider it a lie. With my own eyes, along with my wife and my sons, and my laborers with me and other people here in Phoenix this year, in May, stood and looked at that same plane dotting through the sky. An absolute man-made planet, moving at such terrific speed that you could hardly imagine it, flickering amid the stars of heaven. Out of the reaches of the devil's fire, you can't reach it, you can't shoot it down, it's impossible. You can't go to it, you can't capture it, it's impossible. I say, my listeners, know that the doom, the judgment approaches. Know that it is time to repent. The following lesson comes from the Supreme Wisdom Department, established by Almighty God Allah himself. Our mother plane. 1. The mother plane is made of the finest steel in Asia. 2. It was made on the island of Nippon, Japan, in 1929, and also took flight that same year. 3. Black, brown, red, and yellow scientists built the mother plane. 4. The scientists did not know what they were building. 5. Her size is half-mile by half-mile square. 6. Her shape is oval. 7. Her speed is up to 9,000 miles per hour. 8. Her flying ability is 9,000 miles per hour in any direction, up or down, to or fro, in any direction without making a complete directional turn. 9. Her contents are 1,500 small circular planes, as the devil calls them, flying saucers. 10. These small planes carry 3 bombs each. They also shoot flames of fire. 11. The black men who pilot these small planes have been taught from the age of 6 that they are to do a special job. 12. These pilots can hit any spot in America blindfolded, as the devil will soon see. 13. The bombs that the small planes contain weigh 2 tons each. 14. They are designed to drill into the earth upon contact, and drill from 1 to 6 miles through stone and rock, and to explode, destroying civilization or any living matter or life within a 50-mile radius. 15. After these bombs explode, a poisonous gas is found to snuff out the remaining life, if any still exists. 16. The purpose of the mother plane is to destroy the most wicked place ever to be on the planet Earth at any time, America, the great mystery Babylon. 17. Her position is 40 miles out from the Earth's sphere. 18. She holds this position from 6 to 12 months at a time. When this time is up, the mother plane comes into the atmosphere to take in fresh air for our brothers inside. Then she retakes her position. 19. At the dropping of the bombs, the flames will miles in all directions. 20. When the destruction comes, America will burn 390 years and take 610 years to cool off. The great mystery Babylon, America, will perish in the flames of fire. Allah will even cause the air which we breathe to ignite along with the atmosphere. Every atom will burn in and over America from a height of 12 miles down. The following statement was made by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The country of America will be littered with leaflets from the sky. With readings like this, you have from 8 to 10 days to return unto your own. The time of this world is at hand. The leaflets will be written in both English and Arabic, so God, Allah, taught me. After the warning from the sky will follow total destruction by the intense heat of fire.
I got the power supreme. Allahu Akbar supreme.
Assalamu alaikum.
Supreme.